Chapter 76. Just went down to the corner of the second floor. Kushina's body, which was charging forward like a wild beast, suddenly stopped. Under the impact of Li Quan's spiritual power, her consciousness became clearer. It only took her a second or two to understand her situation. But Kushina knew very well that it would be difficult for her to suppress Nine Tails now. Hurry, go. When her consciousness became blurred again, she tried her best to use the Vatra sealing technique. In the pitch-black space, several huge chains rose into the air. Towards the orange-red Nine Tails, covering the past. However, Nine Tails remained unmoved and just output his own chakra, infusing it into Kushina's body. Don't you hate that kid? Why are you protecting him? Although he was shocked by the kid's powerful special mental power just now. But it was still confused, looking at Kushina in front of it and asked this puzzling question. He's just a kid. Kushina spoke reluctantly, having completely lost control of her body. Outside world. Li Chuan looked solemn as he watched Kushina, who was already wearing the shadow of the Four Tails coat, rushing towards him. In the Four Tails outer state, he can fight against Tendo Pain. In this state, am I the opponent? Moreover, a large number of ninjas have gathered around, making it difficult to take action. Go first. Go to the back hill of Hokage Rock. That area is the most open place in Konoha. Kushina's target is obviously himself. As long as he reached that area, even if the Nine Tails in Kushina's body went completely riot, they would not destroy the village or harm innocent villagers. After all, the village is where he lives. He didn't want to destroy the village before leaving. As for what happens afterwards, it depends. As Li Chuan moved quickly, Kushina, with the red chakra and 4 energy tails, followed closely behind Li Chuan. The faces of the Anbu ninjas who gathered around suddenly changed. To suppress the 9 tails in Kushina's body, it takes more than just the 4-symbol seal. There is also a seal within the village. This seal is an area centered on the Vortex Tower. Once succeeded, 9 tails will most likely go completely berserk. By then, it will not be an easy problem to solve. Damn it, what on earth did that kid in front do? Quick, stop him, make him stop. Amidst the screams, many Anbu ninjas started to speed up at the same time. But they were surprised to find that they could not keep up with the speed of the 2 people in front of them. The spy planted from the root had cold sweat on his forehead. Finished. After this incident is over, he will definitely be held accountable. Once his true identity is discovered. He doesn't want to be interrogated by Anbu. His scalp tingled and he sped up a bit. At the same time, Minato Namikaze, who fell out of the window, has just recovered. Then, he chased in the direction of Kushina. In a classroom, Li Chuan was seen surpassing Kushina's speed. There was also a gleam of surprise in Yahai Kurene's eyes. Compared with Li Chuan, I am really far behind. As expected of the person I like, he can actually protect himself in front of such a terrifying creature. What on earth is that horrible creature? So scary. When she saw the creature, her legs went weak. When I get home at night, I must ask my father. Mr. Li Chuan, you must come back safely. At the same time, her young heart was also deeply hit. I am so weak. This time, I didn't even chase after Li Quanjun. If this continues, I will definitely be left far behind by Li Chuan. By then, will Li Chuan stop playing with me? No, I must work hard to become stronger and catch up with Li Quanjun. Having made up his mind silently, Yahai Kurene raised his shaking legs with difficulty and walked towards the playground in front of the building. The homeland of the Yamanaka clan. In a small meeting room, Yamanaka Hai, the newly appointed clan leader, was discussing the family's industrial profits with several clan elders. Suddenly, he squinted his eyes unconsciously. Is this Scent 9 Tails? Jinchuriki rioted. Why? On the side, the expressions of several elders also changed. The chief elder of the Yamanaka clan looked a little heavy-hearted and asked, Chief, do we want to? Before he could finish his words, he was interrupted by Yamanaka Hai. Don't cause trouble, leave it to Anbu. But will the 3rd generation blame us? Don't worry about it. Just send someone to find out the news. Old man Hiruzen has taken so much profit, so he must do something. Shaking his head, Yamanaka looked at the industry financial report in front of him calmly and continued reading. The Second Ninja War dealt a heavy blow to every family in Konoha village. Among them, the Senjo clan was nearly wiped out. Although the Yamanaka clan was in a much better situation, some of their industries outside the village also suffered a considerable blow. The ones who benefited the most were the Sarutobi clan, which had remained silent all along. In 4 years, the Sarutobi clan has shown signs of becoming the largest clan in Konoha. At this time, I want them to work hard for no reason, haha. Before, when he was not in the position of clan leader, he did not think so much. But it's different now. As the head of a clan, he also has to plan for the future of his family. Such a scene was also happening in several other major families. Similarly, they only sent members to gather information, with no intention of taking any action at all. A few minutes later, Li Chuan has arrived at the mountain behind Hokage Rock. Now that he's here, he doesn't have many concerns. But after this incident, I'm afraid many people will pay attention to me. The speed at which I was exposed this time alone is a big trouble. It looks like I'll have to trouble Tsunade again. Ding, activate the mission, suppress the rampaging Kushina task reward, primary body quenching liquid formula, can enhance the practitioner's physique. Instantly, Li Quan's eyes lit up. He was worried that he couldn't cooperate with Tsunade to make money. Isn't this the opportunity? With this basic quenching fluid formula, you can sell it and earn money steadily. Moreover, this is his exclusive deal. Let's not talk about how much the physical fitness will be enhanced. In this world of high attack and low defense, things that enhance physical fitness will definitely sell well. Later, when the overall strength of Konoha village is enhanced, it will be easier for him to use Konoha's ninjas to unify the ninja world. Right now, it's too close to the village. The speed of exposure has attracted the attention of those Anbu ninjas. If we take action later, we will be in big trouble. Squinting his eyes, he roughly scanned the direction, and then directly started the space shuttle. In an instant, 2 pitch-black cracks appeared in the air. The next second, he and Kushina appeared in the forest 15 kilometers away. The breath is a little heavy. I felt that more than half of the chi in my body had been consumed. Li Quan looked ahead carefully, staring at his four-tails Kushina that was ready to go. Today, he finally saw the power of space travel. Crossing a space of 15 kilometers, and bringing someone with him. If it weren't for the fact that now, he already has the total amount of chi of 7 cups of water, plus his proficiency in space travel, it has reached 40%. He simply couldn't do that. I just don't know if he can suppress Kushina under the four-tails coat before others arrive in his current state. Chapter 77. The woods behind the Hokage rock, 15 kilometers away. While Li Quan was staring at Kushina in front of him, Kushina opposite him was also staring at him. In those pure white pupils was an inextricable hatred. And a touch of deep shock. At this moment, it is Nine Tails' consciousness that controls Kushina's body. But Nine Tails had never seen the kind of long-distance teleportation ninjutsu that was just performed. No, it had seen similar ninjutsu before. Second Hokage Senju, the Flying Thunder God of the Door. However, there is no record of Tobirama's Flying Thunder God being able to teleport others through the air. This makes it a little fearful. However, that is all. Come to think of it, it should thank this little devil. Without this kid, how could Kushina escape the seal near the Whirlpool Tower? How could its current consciousness be so clear? The woman who sealed herself was still struggling, trying to suppress herself. Otherwise, it can at least condense six-tailed beast coats. That's enough. Kill the brat in front of you, make Kushina fall into despair, and then escape from Konoha's barriers. The breath suddenly changed. The huge chakra on Kushina's body suddenly extended out. The surrounding trees were uprooted, and a large number of scarlet energy columns extended from the ground. All of a sudden, the earth began to crack. The area of a 30 to 40 meters in radius centered on the two of them instantly turned into flat ground. Li Quan, who used space travel to arrive in mid-air, raised his eyebrows. The power is much smaller than I expected. And under the observation of Daluo Dongguan, there seemed to be something in Kushina's body that was restraining this red chakra. It seems that Kushina is not completely lost. After waking up Kushina, I should be able to suppress Nine Tails. But it seems that the difficulty is quite high. With Nine Tails' countless chakras, the chi from his 7 cups of water wouldn't have much effect. Most importantly, he now knows energy-based attacks. That is to say, in the realm of technique, there is not much at all. Red Hands, Mental Power, Wuodang Tai Chi, Daluo Cave and Tianqi's Salvation. Only the first 3 can be used in combat. Red Hand's ability can cause the body to collapse. But facing Nine Tails and the vitality of the Uzumaki clan, he was not sure what the effect would be. The effect is not great, and there is no point in fighting. The effect was too strong, and it was very likely that Kushina would be killed accidentally. As for his mental power, it is equal to his total amount of chi and is basically of no help. Wuodang Tai Chi, combined with his physical body, can actually fight against Nine Tails. However, it is not possible to wake up Kushina. The last 2 are purely auxiliary skills and are not very useful. Suddenly, Li Quan's eyes lit up. Then, he saw a long sword in his hand, which exuded extreme malice. The knife handle is pitch black with elegant blue-purple streamlined patterns. And the densely packed lines on the blade that looked as if they would break at any moment. The national treasure of the Shenduan country, it can only attack but not defend, and it is unparalleled in the world. Demonic Knife 1000 Blades. The moment the long sword appeared, the pupil belonging to the evil spirit at the handle began to rotate rapidly. At the same time, a strong sense of oppression filled the space. Holding the magic sword 1000 Blades, Li Quan suddenly felt a suction force. This suction force continuously absorbed the chi in his body. Originally there was only about 40% of the chi left, but in just the blink of an eye, 20% was gone. At this moment, Nine Tails' chakra arm smashed towards Li Quan who was falling in mid-air. Click, click, click. A crisp sound was heard. The blade of the demonic sword 1000 Blades seemed to have self-awareness and disintegrated directly. A spherical shield formed around Li Quan. With a loud bang, Li Quan's body was smashed directly into the ground. As the smoke rises, another series of chakra arms smashed towards Li Quan. But this time, there was a ping-pong sound coming from the smoke. The smoke gradually dissipated. I saw a child holding a long sword, swinging it clumsily to resist the chakra arm that was so fast that it left an afterimage. There is no order to it. Some just swung the knife rapidly. But even so, it blocked the red chakra arm. The so-called only attack but no defense means that the 1000 blades can be easily broken when attacking. You must use your abilities to control each piece of the blade in order to use it properly. For Li Quan, Managing thousands of fragments is a very troublesome task. But with the power of mental thought, it becomes very simple. Moreover, the so-called evil spirit did not cause any substantial harm to him. It only absorbed about 20% of the chi in his body. Li Quan also had some guesses about this. It should be the system that forcibly binds this weapon to him. That's why he can use it normally. Also, Li Quan suddenly realized that his understanding of Wudang Tai Chi was a bit narrow. All along, he always thought that this skill was just Tai Chi, but when he had the Thousand Blades demon knife in his hand, a set of sword techniques automatically emerged in his mind. Wudang Tai Chi sword. Although it is not very suitable for the use of the demonic sword Thousand Blades. But now, it just makes up for his weakness of not being able to use weapons. The experiment on the demonic blade Thousand Blades is enough. Resolve the battle quickly. The long sword chopped out, and thousands of pieces instantly extended into a 40-meter-long illusory sword. The big knife fell and directly split one of Nine Tails' chakra arms. At the same time, a faint crack appeared on the ground. The broken chakra arm then suddenly exploded and turned into star points. However, those tiny dots of starlight did not dissipate in the air. Instead, it turned into strands of air and gathered towards the cracks on the ground. One of the abilities of the demonic blade Thousand Blades is to absorb all energy, evolve its body, and give back to its master. Seeing this scene, Li Quan smiled. Success. Which one is more powerful, the 1000-year-old evil spirit or the 1000-year-old tailed beast? Does Nine Tails have more chakra, or does the Thousand Blades absorb more? Although Li Quan is not sure either. But now, he has confidence in suppressing Kushina. At the same time, inside a cave 1 kilometer away. Here, there is a huge complex of buildings, where many ninjas are training. This place is a stronghold of the roots. In order to train ninjas, Danzo specially opened up an area here. Moreover, this is where the Shimura clan stores their resources. It's only 1 kilometer away. The sound of fighting outside had already reached everyone's ears. Many ninjas also stopped training at this moment. The fourth elder of the Shimura clan is an old man with somewhat grey hair. Specially responsible for guarding this area. The moment he heard the noise, he walked out of the building. What's going on? Why is there a fight? I don't know. Have no idea. Several root members shook their heads one after another. Who knows what's going on? They were all training and just noticed the noise. After hearing the answers from several people, the fourth elder frowned. The area behind Hokage Rock is where all the filth and dirt of Konoha village hides. This is something that all the major families are well aware of. Who would be so blind as to fight nearby? I don't know the situation here, but it looks like they are civilian ninjas. Could such a horrific noise occur in a fight between just civilian ninjas? Bring a team of 30 people and go out with me to take a look. As the fourth elder finished speaking, a team of 30 people was immediately organized. Then, he rushed towards the direction of the sound. Chapter 78. Bang bang bang. Amid a series of loud noises, the battle continued. As the battle continued, Li Quan made a surprising discovery. When using the demonic sword Thousand Blades, he didn't even have to worry about the depletion of the chi in his body. Every time, Kunran absorbed Nine Tails chakra, the chi in his body will be replenished. Although the replenishment speed is not very fast, but it can totally keep up with his consumption. After more than 30 seconds of fighting, his internal energy had recovered by 20%. Just after Li Quan used the magic sword Thousand Blades again to cut off one of Nine Tails' chakra arms. Nine Tails, who was controlling Kushina's body, suddenly stopped. At this moment, Nine Tails was completely confused. The weapon in Li Quan's hand is really too outrageous. Think of Nine Tails, a tailed beast that has lived for thousands of years. In its complete form, even the man known as the god of ninja would have to spend a lot of effort to deal with it. If Uchiha Madara didn't have it, then he inherited the eyes from the Aoi Satsuki clan. Don't even think about controlling it. But now, the Four Tails outerwear has been condensed, and it is conscious. He was actually restrained by that weapon that was full of fragments. How is this possible? Moreover, it actually sensed a similar aura in that weapon. In Nine Tails' eyes, the so-called same kind are those who have lived the same number of years as it. This kind of existence has such terrifying power. Judging from the kid's vitality, he seems to be only about 5 or 6 years old. Why would such a being help this little ghost in front of him? I don't understand at all. Kurama was upset for a moment. If it weren't for the woman who sealed it, how could it have only condensed into the Four Tails coat? This damn woman is still struggling. If this continues, I will be suppressed sooner or later, and then taken back to that disgusting place. Obviously, it just wants freedom. Why are these humans so annoying? Damn it all. The next second, Nine Tails went berserk. There is no seal around the vortex tower. Under Kushina's restraint, Kurama still went berserk. 5 chakra tails dancing in the wind. The breath of hatred and disgust raged wildly. The chakra coat began to expand and grow, and was already about 10 meters long. Then, it launched a counterattack again. At the same time, Li Quan's gaze was looking into the distance. There seems to be movement. After thinking for less than a second, a lot of red light appeared in his right hand holding Kunran. Then, his appearance and body changed. There are some graying beards at the pointed corners of the forehead. And those 2 pairs of extremely mysterious 6 Magadama eyes. He took out a cloak from the swallowing sack and wrapped it around his waist to cover his key parts. Li Quan looked coldly at the partially tailed beast Kushina in front of him. Let's end it soon, otherwise there will be trouble. However, what surprised Li Quan was that he succeeded in changing his appearance the first time he used his red hand. When Nine Tails saw Li Quan's appearance, his pure white pupils suddenly fluctuated violently. Old man? No, impossible. This is not the old man's aura. Who are you? Nine Tails' voice floated out from the illusory-tailed beast coat. With a sense of disbelief and a touch of extreme horror. The kid in front of me turned into the Sage of Six Paths. This. Looking at Li Quan in disbelief, it stopped controlling Kushina's body. Although Kurama didn't believe it at all, the man in front of him was the old man from Six Paths. But after seeing the evil-looking broken longsword in Li Quan's hand, it suddenly wavered. Apart from that old man from Six Paths, who else could come up with something so terrifying? The attack paused, and it controlled Kushina's body and slowly retreated. Nine Tails knew very well that in its current state, it could never be a match for the old man Six Paths. Even if the person in front of him was not Six Paths and could stop it temporarily, it would not be able to escape when other ninjas arrived. After a struggle between his conscience and his own, Nine Tails simply turned around and ran away. Seeing this, Li Quan narrowed his eyes and used space teleportation to chase after him. Changing into the appearance of Sage of Six Paths is of course to conceal one's identity. By the way, let me spread the news that the Sage of Six Paths appeared in Konoha village. Li Quan also had some rough guesses about the transformation of Orochimaru's disciple. Li Quan had no idea who he thought he was. It is very likely that he mistook himself for the old man from Six Paths considering the time. Orochimaru will be back soon. This is a good opportunity for Orochimaru to think about it more. As for the old man from Six Paths, he was already dead. However, the old man is still wandering around the Hokage world in the form of a spirit. Li Quan had no respect for this man. If you can't live forever, what's the point of being called an immortal? I don't know how long it took for the news to spread. By then, I just need to shut up Kushina and Nine Tails. Whether or not he can be found is a question. Thousands of fragments flew out like bullets. Once again, the demonic blade Thousand Blades demonstrated its cheating ability. Ignore energy barriers. In less than a second, it pierced directly into Kushina's lower abdomen. However, the newly condensed blade did not penetrate Kushina's body. Instead, it seemed to have disappeared completely. Although Li Quan was a little dazed, he could clearly sense that the demonic blade Thousand Blades had not disappeared. Instead, he was in a pitch-black space. Then, he flew madly towards a huge energy body. Seal the space of Nine Tails. His eyes fixed, and he immediately ordered Kunran to draw Nine Tails' chakra. In the sealed space, Nine Tails' pupils suddenly shrank. Nine Tails was so shocked looking at that part of the blade that he went numb. What the hell? This is a sealed space. A space that purely seals energy bodies. How the hell did this thing get in here? Struggling with the chains, it instinctively wanted to fight back. But when Kushina saw the scene, who had no idea what was going on in the outside world, his face lit up with joy. Someone came to help her. All of a sudden, she became excited. Activating the chains of King Kong ceiling, she once again fought for the control of her body. It was just this moment of obstruction. The 20 to 30 meter long sword made of fragments directly sank into Nine Tails' body. The energy was absorbed crazily, and Nine Tails showed a rare look of fear on his face. My own chakra is rapidly draining away. How is this possible? I am a tailed beast. And he is the strongest among the nine-tailed beasts. His own chakra is the most among the nine-tailed beasts. But now, what the hell is going on? What on earth is that fragment blade? Faintly, Kurama seemed to see a monkey in the darkness, staring at it coldly. Which evil spirit is it? Damn it. I didn't expect that I would fall into the hands of a little kid. Damn it all. Damn human beings. However, no matter how it struggled, it could not resist the suction force. At this moment, it suddenly felt very weak, as if its body had been hollowed out. At the same time, the first audience also came to the battle scene. His face was covered in dust, and his clothes were in tatters. If it weren't for the golden hair, Li Quan would have been unable to recognize who the person was. In the mobile game Hokage, there is a man with the title of Dead Water Returns to Yin. After his death, he was resurrected by the impure world reincarnation and returned to the underworld. Chapter 79. The Edge of the Flattened Woods. Minato Namikaze, who arrived via Flying Thunder God, was in a very bad condition at the moment. There is a reason why Flying Thunder God is listed as a forbidden technique. In situations where you are not particularly familiar with it, he encountered many bumps along the way and never used it perfectly. To the extent that every time he teleported, a collision would occur. But his feelings for Kushina made him grit his teeth and stand firm. And the effect is surprisingly good. When all forces were taking action, he became the first person to come to Kushina. However, after looking at the white-skinned, shirtless man, Namikaze Minato's pupils suddenly shrank. That man actually stabbed Kushina with a knife. At this moment, despite having consumed a large amount of chakra, Namikaze Minato still threw out the ritual kunao. But, before the kunao could fly far, a crack suddenly appeared, and then the kunao appeared next to Minato Namikaze's ear. Zhang the next second, the kunao pierced the tree trunk behind Minato Namikaze. If you don't want to die, just stay here. Glancing coldly at Minato, Li Quan looked at Kushina who was gradually taking off her four tails coat. Finally suppressed it. The system sound that suddenly rang in his mind also made the corners of his mouth curl up. After all, the demonic sword Thousand Blades is superior. The formula for the primary quenching liquid was also sent to the system space. The next step is how to deal with the ninjas gathering around. More than 300 meters away, the aura of that group of ninjas, is it envy or root? 4 kilometers away, there were also some people rushing here. Those scattered ninjas around must be members of the major families in Konoha village. Fortunately, the speed of transformation using the red hand is fast enough. With emotion in his heart, he suddenly glared at a flying kunao. You're still not giving up? Do you really think I won't kill you? However, before Li Chuan could use space travel to transfer the kunao, those few kunao instantly turned into more than a dozen. Shuriken Shadow Clone Technique. This made Li Chuan slightly stunned. Shuriken Shadow Clone, can it also be effective against Jutsu kunao? In the moment he was stunned, Namikaze Minato had already teleported over from a kunao. Give me back Kushina. Roaring, he immediately began to make a seal. Then he took a deep breath and exhaled towards Li Chuan. Fire style, Great Fireball Technique. Li Chuan no longer wants to complain about the Great Fireball that is so popular. He was too lazy to even raise his hand when a space crack appeared on his left. The huge Great Fireball was directly transferred by the space crack and gushed out to the right of Li Chuan. You can't beat me in your prime, so why bother? Shaking his head slightly, Li Chuan sighed. Although the 16-year-old Namikaze Minato was a genius, he was only at the level of a JA. Nin. Compared to Orochimaru and Hotaki Sakumo, the gap is extremely large. Although he seems to be able to perform this unskilled flying thunder god, he has not created the raised Nan, so his combat power is pitifully poor. Besides, he didn't really want to bully this sunny boy. Stay still, she's fine now. As he spoke, Li Chuan slowly drew out the magic sword Thousand Blades. On the side, Minato Namikaze finished performing fire style. After Kushina had been found, that breath returned to normal. He calmed down quickly. As a combat genius, he thought a lot in an instant. He is not an opponent, and the other party does not seem to have any ill intentions. And there is no plan to continue taking action. In desperation, he chose to trust Li Chuan temporarily. But the scene of Li Chuan drawing his sword made Minato frightened. That knife is so evil. It seemed to be extremely similar to Nine Tails' hateful aura. Also, with such a long knife, how could it not pierce Kushina's body? For a moment, Minato Namikaze was confused. Who is the man in front of you? What is that evil knife? Purple light cracked evil eye space blade? Everything made him feel like he couldn't understand anything. Looking at the man in front of him very cautiously, he asked carefully, Senior, who are you? Don't you know me? Li Chuan opened his eyes. This civilian academic master doesn't even know 6 paths? Oh. According to the teaching materials of ninja school, it seems quite normal. Since you don't know her, forget it. Wait a minute. Once I've dealt with Zaiju, I'll return her to you. Little Nine? Subconsciously, Minato Namikaze looked at Kushina's lower abdomen. Zaiju, is it Nine Tails? This senior actually called Nine Tails Xiaoju. Who is this person in front of me? Just when Minato Namikaze was confused, Li Chuan had already drawn out the demonic sword Thousand Blades. Feel the energy inside, like the waves of the ocean. Li Chuan was silent for a moment. Then, his gaze fell on Kushina's lower abdomen, on the wound that had healed. 4 elephant seal? It seems that Nine Tails cannot be suppressed. For the time being, Nine Tails cannot be allowed to come out and interrupt his dormant plan. Then let 8 sign seal come into the world sooner. Thinking about this, he used the Daluo cave observation to observe the structure of the 4-symbol seal. In the original work, the 8 sign seal was formed by Minato and Kushina using 2 4-sign seals that did not interfere with each other. After casting, half of the Nine Tails chakra was sealed. This seal not only allows Naruto to move freely in the village. It can also help Naruto stay sane after leaving the village. That's right, Minato Namikaze added some information to 8 sign seal. Forced Nine Tails to pay Naruto's rent. He couldn't do something like adding materials, after all, he had no experience with sealing techniques. But for Li Chuan, making an 8 sign seal is not a difficult task. After observing clearly how the 4-symbol seal works, he gathered the energy directly in the palm of his hand. Zaiju, watch your mouth. This time, it's just a lesson. As he spoke, he drew the energy from the 1,000 blades and gathered it into his palm. Then he pressed his palm on Kushina's lower abdomen. In an instant, the energy condensed into mysterious runes around the 4-symbol seal. What the hell? In the sealed space. With a cry of surprise, Nine Tails, who was already exhausted, once again showed a look of horror in his fox eyes. The seal has been strengthened. This is complete bullshit. That damn kid actually used his own chakra to seal himself. What a beast. The old man would never do that. If the old man wanted, he could seal it with one hand. Where is the need for its chakra? Who is this kid who uses 6 paths body to hide himself? Where did this monster come from? In just a moment, Nine Tails' defense was broken. To think that Kurama, the most powerful of the 9-tailed beasts, was beaten up by a child. Not only did he almost have his chakra sucked out, but he was also threatened and warned by this kid. Is there any justice in this? And when the child took action, it could only watch. Because its chakra was drained, it didn't even have the ability to resist. Looking at the sealed cage formed in front of him, Nine Tails lay on the ground with hopelessness, wanting to cry but unable to. Why was I so determined to kill this child before? At this moment, it regretted it. I am so autistic that I don't even want to say a word. Outside world. Li Quan shook his head helplessly. The first time I imitated it, the overlapping 4-symbol seal was not perfect. But on the side, Minato Namikaze was stunned for a moment. Nine-Tails' aura completely disappeared. What happened just now? Chapter 80. Just as Li Quan was looking at the not particularly complete 8-sign seal, the 4 elders of the Shimura clan have arrived here with a root team of 30 people. As one of the top executives, this 4th elder knew about the replacement of Nine-Tails' Jinchuriki. Halfway through, after seeing the Scarlet Chakra, he already understood what was happening. Jinchuriki stormed off. And it has even left the seal range of the Whirlpool Tower. This is very troublesome. Especially this place is close to the training base at the root. Once the aftermath of the battle destroys the training base, the loss of various materials inside will be a blow to the Shimura clan. Therefore, he had to bring people to stop Nine-Tails. But what he couldn't figure out was, who was fighting Nine-Tails? Outside the range of the Whirlpool Tower, who is capable of fighting the runaway Jinchuriki? There aren't many high-end combat forces left in the village now. Could it be the previous patriarch of the major families? However, when he saw the white man next to Kushina, his expression suddenly changed. This is the legendary Sage of 6 Paths. For a moment, the 4th elder of the Shimura clan was shaking all over. Many secrets are recorded in the family scrolls of the Shimura clan. Among them is the information about the Sage of 6 Paths. According to legend, he was the one who founded the ninja clan and distributed chakra to everyone. But didn't he have a funeral? Resurrection from the dead. He is indeed a legendary immortal. This method is simply unheard of. That's right, only this kind of person can easily control the Jinchuriki in a runaway state. Thinking for a long time, the 4th elder immediately had the idea of Euro stepping forward to establish contact. The Shimura clan members are generally mediocre in qualifications. In Konoha village, there are few geniuses except Shimura Denso. The reason why the Shimura clan can now control the root is entirely due to the emergence of Denso, the current clan leader. Without Denso, the family would probably decline soon. If I could connect with Sage of 6 Paths. After that, the Shimura clan will rise. The more I think about it, the more excited I get. He walked forward and said respectfully to Li Quan, I am so lucky today to see you, Sage of 6 Paths. I am the 4th elder of the Shimura clan, Xiu Mu. I wonder if I have the honor to. However, before he could continue speaking, Li Quan's face turned cold. Originally, because in Hokage, apart from Denso, there are no other members of the Shimura clan appearing. He had no conflict with the Shimura clan. However, because of Denso, Li Quan no longer has a good impression of this family. Denso did so many inhuman things. Would the senior members of this family not know? Look at the dark aura of the ninja team behind this man. They should all be members of the root. It came so quickly, is there a root base nearby? Not interested. I have something else to do. Turning around and patting Shuman on the shoulder, Li Quan smiled and said, yellow-haired boy, you are very much to my taste. Perhaps we will meet again next time. Then he turned his eyes and scanned the circle. Also, you should understand what to say and what not to say. Watching Li Quan step into a dark crack and disappear, Shimura's eyelids twitched. Sage of 6 Paths, why do you dislike him so much? This is trouble. If an immortal displeases them, the Shimura clan might be doomed. But what is the reason? Glancing at Kushina with an uncertain look, he led a group of root members to the root headquarters. It's best to discuss this matter with Denso. He really couldn't grasp the consequences of this matter. As for taking away Kushina, the Jinchuriki, that would be seeking death. This is the top combat force that the top leaders are paying attention to. If the Shimura clan dares to have the intention of monopolizing the world, it won't be long before the Shimura clan becomes the same as the Uzumaki clan. And Namikaze Minato was supporting Kushina and was in a daze. The power of space. Barely mastering Flying Thunder God made him extremely sensitive to the power of space. But the man's move just now really shocked him. A space-time ninjutsu that doesn't require hand seals, and can tear apart space at will, who on earth is that person? Oops. Coming back to his senses suddenly, he slapped his thigh, his eyes filled with regret. What a loss. I finally met a fairy, but I didn't seize the opportunity. If I could learn from this sage, maybe I could master what Jiraiya-sensei calls sage mode. By then, I will definitely make Konoha more prosperous. By the way, why has he never heard of the Horned Fairy? The Sage of 6 Paths that Xiaomu just mentioned seems to sound familiar. Who mentioned it? Go check the information. Just after Minato Namikaze took Kushina away, members sent by various major families also gradually arrived at the nearby area. Looking at the badly damaged ground and the crisscrossing traces, everyone looked at each other in bewilderment. Who is fighting Nine-Tails Jinchuriki in this way? After recording all the data, everyone immediately rushed to the family. And not far away. Li Quan did not leave immediately. After thinking about the base of roots around him, Li Quan wanted to go and take a look. The root base is where the root ninjas are trained. He still didn't know where a bear Mei Ayaka's sister was kidnapped. If you are lucky, you can find it nearby. Then, we will get rid of the seal of the tongue evil in a bear Mei Ayaka. Then the dealer can work for himself temporarily. It doesn't matter if you don't find it. At least he could get a rough idea of the specific situation of the roots through the space. so as to better prevent. But this process needs to be faster. He had been missing from the ninja school long enough. If I don't show up again, I'm afraid some people will notice something is wrong. After circling a few times, Li Quan stopped. The chi in the body is exhausted. Helplessly taking out the demonic sword Thousand Blades and absorbing the energy from it, Li Quan took action again. After absorbing Nine Tails' massive amount of chakra. In Li Quan's eyes, the demonic blade Thousand Blades turned into a large power bank. However, the recovery efficiency cannot be said to be very high. I can only say it is sufficient. If used for body training, it would probably just speed up the process a little. Something is better than nothing. Fortunately, when teleporting oneself, the consumption of chi is not fast. Otherwise, he would prepare to come next time. Using space travel again and combining it with the perspective ability of Daluo Dongguan, Li Quan began a rapid sweep. Just 2 minutes later, he stopped behind a big tree. Looking at the entrance of the cave which was more than 40 meters away, Li Quan used his red hands to change his appearance. Soon, he turned into Sarutobi Shinishuk. If there was any shortcoming, it might be that he didn't prepare any adult clothes. But it doesn't matter. He didn't think that relying on Shinishuk's face would cause Sarutobi Hiruzen and Jimura Danzo to fall out with each other. This is just to hide the identity. As for what these two people will do by then, he chuckled. Li Quan activated the Daluo cave observation and looked deeper into the cave. There are a lot of people here. About 400. Is there something he can't see through? Subconsciously using more chi, Li Quan's eyes suddenly lit up. There is gold in that room. Chapter 81. The other side. Namikaze Minato, who was returning to the village, suddenly stopped. Vaguely, it seems that I have forgotten something important. Suddenly, Minato Namikaze's eyes widened. I was worried about Kushina's safety before, and then I was shocked by the Sage of Six Paths. He actually forgot about that little kid named Li Quan. It's gonna happen. When Lady Tsunade asked him to take charge of the class, she also asked him to look after the kid Li Quan. But now, no one knows where they are. For a moment, he felt unwell. The current Minato Namikaze has not yet learned the multiple shadow clone technique. Looking at Kushina in his arms, he was in a dilemma for a moment. Kushina's condition seemed to be fine. But just in case. But if the child had been injured by Kushina, he was afraid that by the time he escorted Kushina back to the village, the child might have died. Given Kushina's personality, she would never let the child die in the wild. After hesitating for a moment, he immediately communicated with Shadow Clone in the ninja school. Meanwhile, in the Hokage's office, Sarutobi's sword stretched out and his waist became lazy. Sarutobi Hiruzen's perception ability is not very strong. So he didn't notice Nine Tails' violent aura. However, after an Anbu member entered the Hokage building, Sarutobi Hiruzen suddenly stood up. What? Nine Tails went berserk. Looking at the members in front of him in disbelief, the pipe in his mouth fell on the table. How long ago did it happen? About 7 minutes ago. In response to Hiruzen's question, the member subconsciously added a sentence. The child you asked us to focus on earlier seemed to be the target of the Jinchuriki at the time. Instantly, Hiruzen's eyes widened. It seemed as if there was a dark cloud lingering in his heart. That child is in great danger. How long can a child survive being targeted by a rampaging Jinchuriki? 1 minute? Or 30 seconds? That child, though, seems to be hiding his strength. But, after all, he is just a child. A genius who could have become his right-hand man fell just like that. What a pity. Obviously, he just followed Danzo's advice and let Uzumaki Kushina and Namikaze Minato relax. I didn't expect this to happen. Was this something Danzo did? Sarutobi Hiruzen clenched his fists secretly and sighed helplessly. What happened to the child's body? Well, Hokage-sama, actually, we didn't catch up at that time. What's the meaning? Hearing this, Sarutobi Hiruzen narrowed his eyes and looked over. Didn't catch up? Funny, right? Those who followed Jinchuriki were all J.A. Nin. As long as the Jinchuriki does not leave the vicinity of the Whirlpool Tower, these J.A. Nin can work together to stop the runaway Jinchuriki. But now, the subordinate in front of him actually told him that he failed to catch up? Maybe the person is not dead. He knew that Li Quan, that brat, was hiding his strength. Unexpectedly, the kid's speed was faster than J.A. Nin's. For no reason, Sarutobi Hiruzen breathed a sigh of relief. There is still hope. Although this hope is not very great. But it's better to have something than nothing. With Tsunade's personality, if Li Quan died, I'm afraid. Looking at the subordinates who were still in front of him and not taking any action, Sarutobi Hiruzen suddenly felt angry. He picked up the pipe on the table and threw it directly at the member. What are you standing there for? Go find him. If he's alive, I want to see him. If he's dead, I want to see his body. I endured it silently. The Anbu member immediately caught the falling pipe, handed it to Sarutobi Hiruzen respectfully, and then disappeared on the spot. Taking the pipe, Sarutobi Hiruzen lit it again and took 2 deep puffs. At this moment, even he was a little confused. Why is it that whenever he encounters something related to that child, he cannot control his temper? I'm so tired. And outside the cave. After counting the amount of gold, Li Quan rubbed his fingers. The quantity is not large. Possibly Perhaps, about 50 kilograms. Although gold is hard currency. But Li Quan didn't know what the price of gold was in the Hokage world. Maybe it's worth 14 or 15 million taels. Not particularly many. Moreover, it seems a bit difficult to pick up. There are more than 400 people in the cave, and their strength varies. There is no need to worry about that. But the room where the gold is stored is protected by barriers. This is troublesome. Barriers are not easy to open. Let's try it first. Waste no more than 2 minutes, then leave immediately, pretending to be injured so that others can find you. Use injury to cover up the speed issue. If there is no other option, I can only use the method left by Hatake Sakumo and leave Konoha. He didn't want to be brainwashed by that old guy Sarutobi Hiruzen. Make up your mind. Li Quan immediately locked onto the target and walked into the space crack. Then he came to the house where the gold was stored. He activated the Daluo cave observation with all his strength and observed the weakest points of the barriers. Not long after, he picked up the magic knife Thousand Blades and stabbed out. Bang! There was a loud bang. All the ninjas in the base were alarmed instantly. At the same time, Shimura, who was heading to the root headquarters, suddenly felt his pupil shrink. Who is it? Quick, get back to base. Roaring, he turned around and rushed towards the base he managed. And inside the cave, looking at the barriers that were pierced by him, a look of joy appeared on Li Quan's face. But then he also noticed the riot in the base. Someone is coming. As he broke into the room, he took out the devouring sack. Li Quan had already known the size of the vesicle through experiments a long time ago. About 10 directions. It is quite easy to pack 50 kilograms of gold. As the gold disappeared in an instant, Li Quan's gaze fell on several other rooms. Sometimes people are really greedy. Just like Li Quan at this moment. After realizing that there was still time, Li Quan was no longer satisfied with just taking the gold. Various resources are stored in several houses around. If you can take everything away, that would be the best. However, the speed of the root ninjas in the base was also very fast. With just a second of thought, Li Quan set his sights on the room where the herbs and ninjutsu scrolls were stored. In addition to seeing through the weaknesses of barriers, accumulate strength to destroy barriers. He also needs to restore his chi so that he can travel long distances through space. He only has 10 seconds left at most. There is not much time left. Just after Li Quan broke down the barriers outside the herbal medicine shop and took away all the herbs. The fastest ninjas were already not far from him. Then, these ninjas came directly to kill us. Seeing this, Li Quan looked at the room full of ninjutsu scrolls with regret. After all, it's too late. Fortunately, at the critical moment, he took the demonic sword Thousand Blades back into the system space. Otherwise, the Sage of Six Paths vest would be exposed. But that's enough for now. Come to think of it, with so many things lost this time, Shimura Danzo must be going crazy. Bye-bye. Li Quan waved to the person coming and ran towards another passage. At the corner, after avoiding everyone's sight, he stepped into the newly created space crack. When he appeared again, he fell directly from mid-air. Then, a lot of red light appeared from Li Quan's right hand. In an instant, his body turned into a bloody mess. Chapter 82. Time flies by. When Li Quan opened his eyes again, he was already in a ward. Looking at this somewhat familiar place, the corners of his mouth curled up slightly. Tsunade's ninja hospital. That day, after he used the red hand to change his body, he did not lose consciousness immediately. Instead, he took care of the surrounding environment and waited. After all, many people were watching him. He wanted to make sure that the person who found him was someone he could trust. Fortunately, the first person he met was Minato Namikaze. No, it should be said that it is the shadow clone of Minato Namikaze. So, naturally, he fainted. He had no idea how much time had passed. However, the midterm exam is probably over. That's fine. This will prevent someone from causing trouble during the midterm exam. Moreover, there was one thing that made Li Quan very happy. Using the phagosome capsule, he successfully exploited the system bug. The system space can only hold system treasures. The swallowing capsule that can be filled with gold and herbs can actually be placed within the system space. That's great. Now, the only thing he was worried about was Ruka and the Anbu ninja in Tsunade's room. And after Li Quan woke up, he saw Tsunade standing next to him, resting her head with her elbows. It seemed that he turned over too quickly, and Tsunade woke up at this moment. You little pervert, you finally woke up. When Tsunade saw Li Quan open his eyes, a look of joy immediately appeared on her face. Then, Li Quan happily received a facial cleanser service. "Axi, I will be killed by you even if I don't die." Speaking vaguely, Li Quan felt a little warmer in his heart. Judging from the dark circles under her eyes, Tsunade must have stayed up late a lot these days, otherwise she wouldn't have fallen asleep next to the hospital bed. Silly woman, you should understand my situation. Do you think that a rampaging Kushina could do this to me? Finally feeling relieved, Li Quan looked towards the bed and saw Tsunade looking a little embarrassed. I know that, but I'm just afraid that you won't wake up. Tsunade's eyes turned red and she pinched Li Quan's ears. You know, I don't have many relatives left. When I saw you like this before, I almost. Okay, I'm fine. Obediently enduring Tsunade's fingers, Li Quan gently patted Tsunade's shoulder. This feeling is a bit heavy. It was so heavy that he didn't know how to change. Alas, I can only blame myself for being too young. If only I were a little older. Suddenly, Tsunade seemed to have thought of something and asked, by the way, how did Kushina go berserk? Now, everyone outside wants to know. As she spoke, she looked towards another bed. There, lying Kushina, still unconscious. Well. Suddenly, Li Chuan didn't know how to answer. You mean he was angry? It seems acceptable. He could make Kushina so angry that she went berserk. In the future, the village leaders will definitely not let him continue to contact Kushina. Then the ninjas who were monitoring Kushina wouldn't have the chance to pay attention to him. So, after organizing his words, Li Chuan told the story again. But after we get into the mountain behind Hokage Rock, it's basically over. Of course, he would not mention the battle with Kushina. So you're saying that after you were injured and unconscious, someone teleported Kushina away. After listening to Li Quan's words, Tsunade was suddenly surprised. Speaking of which, she only found out about Kushina Jinchuriki's identity in the past 2 days. She had seen the ability of the tailed beast. After all, her grandmother, Uzumaki Mito, was the first 9 tails Jinchuriki. She felt a little scared just thinking about that terrifying ability. But the perverted little devil was able to escape some distance from Kushina, who had transformed into a tailed beast. How strong is this pervert now? Is it just fast, or? Squinting her eyes, Tsunade looked at Li Chuan suspiciously and suppressed the doubts in her heart. One day, she will know. She wanted this pervert to tell her in person. Well, it seems to be a white-haired old man with horns. On the hospital bed, Li Chuan nodded seriously. Can be within the sealed space. Nine Tails' eyelids began to twitch wildly. The 8-sign seal only seals its chakra. It can still see the situation outside. At this moment, it really wanted to run out and punch this child who was full of lies. Why do you want to hide yourself when you are so powerful? Although it was suppressed because of the treasure's restraint. But various treasures are also part of strength. With such strength, dancing in Konoha village would be easy. But this kid doesn't seem to have this idea. I really don't understand what this kid is going to do. Nine Tails looked at the exhausted and unconscious Kushina at the side and felt extremely angry. If it weren't for this woman and that little devil, it would have run away long ago. Roaring, it angrily attacked the sealed cage. But for a long time, the seal did not loosen. Nine Tails finally just lay down quietly. 4 days of hard work had yielded no results, and at this point he had resigned himself to his fate. It has been sealed for so many years. It can accept being sealed again. I just feel so unwilling. And in the ward, Li Chuan has already brought the topic to Tsunade's office. After hearing Li Quan's words, Tsunade was visibly stunned. You mean, the J.A. Nin and the puppet? That puppet is quite strong, but it doesn't seem to be able to take a beating. As for that J.A. Nin, I have locked him up. Having said that, Tsunade's eyelids suddenly twitched, as if she remembered something bad. I have to buy clothes again, every day. How can a girl have such a fetish? Ruhwa is ruined. Li Chuan raised his eyebrows and asked in confusion. Is that puppet yours? It seems more like a real person than the puppets of the Sand Village. Amazingly, Tsunade recalled the scene when she went to the ninja school to pick up her clothes. She was also shocked at that time. Ruhwa's appearance really scared her. Then she punched him. After breaking Ruhwa's arm with a punch, she discovered that the thing was actually a puppet. It was just because the energy was exhausted that there seemed to be no movement. Then, just as she was about to change her clothes, she also found the girl who was tied under the bed and sucking on her clothes. It's not broken, but an arm is broken. Lying on the hospital bed, Li Chuan felt helpless. Fortunately, the little tail was not missed. As for Ruhwa, just destroy her. He still has 2 of them anyway. Oh, by the way, because every grade you get in school is related to your graduation date, the school decided to give you an extra exam. Ah? Can't I delay my graduation? Suddenly, Li Chuan panicked. He is not afraid of fighting at all. But he really had a headache when it came to the cultural exams. He had originally thought that he could rely on Jing Ian and the others to cheat and get away with it. If he is not able to answer the question about the 3rd generation's deeds, doesn't that prove that the 3rd generation's brainwashing on him was unsuccessful? If the character collapses by then, it will be troublesome. What are you afraid of? The exams at the ninja school aren't that difficult. Looking at Li Quan's nervous look, Tsunade chuckled and rubbed Li Quan's face. It turns out that there are things that this little ghost is afraid of. Oh, you don't understand. Li Chuan turned his head and squinted in the direction of the ninja school. It seems that I can only steal the test papers in advance. Chapter 83. Stealing the test paper? Isn't that what you did? In the ward, looking at Li Quan's serious expression, Tsunade frowned. If Li Chuan wasn't still injured, she would have probably taken action directly. At such a young age, why not learn something else and steal the test paper? Actually, it's quite serious. Let's not talk about it, it's just a small matter. Li Chuan raised his head and scanned the surroundings. Sister Tsunade, is it safe here? It's not safe, can I leave you here? Tsunade rolled her eyes, as if realizing something, and looked over with some anticipation. This little pervert is rarely serious at ordinary times. Is this a showdown? After Li Chuan got the answer, he subconsciously activated the Daluo cave observation and looked around. Well, it's safe. Well, I have a business that I want to discuss with Sister Tsunade. Tisk instantly, Tsunade waved her hand in boredom. I felt a little disappointed. She thought. At this moment, Tsunade really couldn't understand why Li Chuan was so obsessed with money. Giving Li Chuan 10 million taels of silver was the result of her careful consideration. What is the concept of 10 million taels? Li Chuan is a mature child and should know this clearly. As she expected, there was the 10 million taels. Li Chuan should not be obsessed with money. After all, with so much money, I don't have to worry about food, clothing, and other expenses. But now, this little guy Li Chuan actually still wants to continue making money. How can a 5-year-old kid be so obsessed with money? Besides, what kind of business can this kid do with her? She has let Xiao Gui be her special assistant. Could this be what Li Chuan is talking about? What happened a few days ago, wouldn't it make Li Chuan lose his mind? Holding Li Quan's forehead with one hand, Tsunade was puzzled. You don't have a fever. What are you thinking about? Li Chuan slapped Tsunade's wrist and pouted speechlessly. With his current physical condition, how could he have a fever? Is this a joke? Superwoman, just tell me whether you agree or not. Don't worry, I promise you won't suffer any loss in this matter. Oh. Suddenly, Tsunade became interested. At the same time, after trying every possible means to hide it for a few days, Shimura finally failed to hide the fact that the base had been stolen. Today, when Shimura Denzo came to this base. 4 days ago, the base was stolen and there was no way to hide it anymore. Looking at the silent Denzo in front of him, Shimura's body trembled a little. He knew very well how cruel this clan leader was. Precisely because he knew it clearly, he did not dare to tell Denzo about it. 30 million taels of gold and herbs worth 1 million. Those are the heritage of the Shimura clan. If the family loses power, the Shimura clan can quickly regain their footing with these things. But now, it's gone, all gone. Although for the Shimura family today, these losses are not serious. But the losses are also extremely huge, at least it is painful. Have you found out who did it? This, was identified by two ninjas at the scene. He is the son of the 3rd generation, Sarutobi Shinigami. As he spoke tremblingly, Shimura's eyelids began to twitch. He didn't believe what was said. However, apart from the appearance seen by his 2 subordinates, he had no idea of the situation at that time. The only detail is that Shinigami was not wearing any clothes at that time. At that time, the man he thought was the Sage of 6 Paths was also not wearing one. Pretending to be a fairy? Who has the guts? Aren't you afraid that the immortal will come to your door? Not daring to offend Denzo again, he began to tell the details of that day. After listening to Xiu Mu's story, Denzo slapped him directly. Such important information, why are you telling us now? Did you know that Jinchuriki has been assigned to the ninja hospital? With murderous intent in his eyes, Shimura Denzo roared. At this moment, that single eye also began to turn bloodshot. Shimura Denzo, the leader of the root, actually suffered a loss of intelligence because of his own tribe members. How could he accept this? He knew that the Jinchuriki rampage had been suppressed. But he didn't know that Jinchuriki would be suppressed by a fake Sage of 6 Paths. And this fake Sage of 6 Paths actually took away his property. I just lost so much money on Tsunade. Now, we have lost so much again. Do you really think his money came from the wind? With red eyes, Denzo raised his arm again. However, it did not fall after all. Go. Go find out where the gold and herbs are flowing for me. Also, this base is ruined, move. After giving the order, Denzo took a deep breath, closed his eyes and raised his head. Losing money is not the most important thing. Most importantly, who is targeting the Shimura clan? That person's purpose was obviously to make him fall out with Sarutobi Hiruzen. But what if this was really done by Sarutobi Hiruzen? Being a suspicious person by nature, he suddenly felt a chill down his spine when he thought of this possibility. Is this old guy Hiruzen showing him his fangs? Threaten him, but don't go too far. With his eyes twitching, Shimura Denzo secretly clenched his fists as he looked at the 2 broken seals. Sarutobi Hiruzen, this time, you were the first to strike. Snort. With a sneer, Shimura Denzo returned to the root. Now that the other party has taken action, he must be prepared to fight back. Li Chuan was unaware of the dog-eat-dog scenario that was about to unfold. However, after a checkup and confirmation that there was no problem, he was discharged from the hospital. As for Kushina, it seems that she has consumed too much mental energy and is still sleeping. Without Blue Hand, he didn't have much to do with his mental power. As for the formula of the primary quenching fluid, Li Chuan has not yet told Tsunade. He needs to experiment with the effect of this thing himself first. After the finished product is made, show the result to Tsunade. Li Chuan didn't want to give Tsunade a defective product. That would be a pure slap in your own face. But this time, there were actually 2 members of the Senjo clan following them. This made him very strange. These 2 are not the ones Tsunade sent out before. Never mind. Time came to the next day. After comforting a bear Mei Ayaka, Li Chuan went to the back mountain of Hokage Rock alone. The herbs obtained were missing one ingredient. Adding a bear Mei Ayaka, I thought of a place with great possibilities. So this time, he decided to go over and take a look. Because of his injury, the school granted him a week's vacation to recuperate. This is much more convenient. Well, he got into trouble. The system does not recognize the gold in this world. It's not that it can't be used for lottery, but the value of this mineral is too high if it is used for lottery. Value is discounted. Li Quan was naturally unhappy about this. Even at a 50% discount, it would still be worth 15 million, so the total value of this gold would be 30 million. Li Quan had reason to be certain that the system was trying to cheat him out of his money. It would be better to wait until the primary body tempering is completed, and then let Tsunade deal with the gold. As for the 30 million to be exchanged, Li Quan is not going to draw a lottery this time. This time, he wants to invest. Let's see if it's possible to use these 30 million in the primary body quenching liquid to make a small profit. As long as you have enough money, why worry about not being able to win the lottery? When his strength reaches the super shadow level in the Hokage world and he is able to deal with the immortals in this world, then he will have to prepare step by step, start taking over Konoha, and then unify the ninja world. Chapter 84. After half an hour's journey. Soon, Li Quan arrived at the location that Aberme Caxiang mentioned. This is a mountainous area with few trees. There is a stream flowing through it. The location that Aberme Ayaka mentioned was entering from an undercurrent in the stream. Although it is very hidden, it is nothing to Li Quan. As soon as the Daluo cave was opened, he immediately found the exact location. There is nothing in the way. He saw the scene. The reaction speed is quite fast. With a sigh, Li Quan shook his head. This time, he didn't see any resources in it. There are only various prepared foods and training equipment. However, there are many cells in it. He also saw the target of his action, a little girl who was slightly older than him. He never expected to find it in one go. So, after using space travel to take away the little girl from the Aberme clan, Li Quan just left here. There is no need to stay any longer. There are no resources and there is no point in building a base. It would be better to take advantage of this time to look for some herbs around. However, he recorded this location. With Blue Hand, this place might be his first large-scale personnel base. As for the future, he will definitely not control ordinary ninjas. Only those gifted and talented people are his targets. At noon, Li Quan returned to his room. He found all the herbs and other things. Now, we need to experiment and see what kind of effect the formula of the primary quenching liquid has. Under the careful observation of Daluo cave, Li Quan managed to configure it successfully on the first try. There is no accident at all. Yes, it was just his curiosity about the light blue liquid. Just a slight bluish tint, no smell at all. It seems that this thing produced by the system has a special anti-theft function. Even when he tried it with his finger, he couldn't taste anything. His body has been strengthened and his sense of taste is also quite good. Even he couldn't taste anything, and it's estimated that others couldn't taste it either. Perhaps, only the scientist Orochimaru can crack the mystery. A warning is in order. Thinking of this, he looked at Aberme Ayaka who was taking care of her sister. I'll give you a chance. Do you want to become stronger? On the side, Aberme Ayaka was visibly stunned. What's the meaning? But then, she nodded immediately. Being able to become stronger means that she has a chance to escape from Li Quan's clutches. She doesn't want to miss this opportunity. Then soak in it for 2 hours. This is the primary body hardening liquid, and each person can use it 3 times. Soaking 3 times can strengthen the user's physical strength. But I don't know the specific process, or whether it was painful. After talking about the efficacy of the medicine, Li Quan continued very seriously, it's because I don't know the specific effects. This process may kill you. You have to think about it carefully. These words were, of course, meant to fool Aberme Ayaka. How could something produced by the system kill people? However, he really had no idea about the specific effects of the process and how much it could strengthen his body. After all, it is an elementary quenching liquid, so I don't think it will strengthen the body too much. I've thought it through. On the side, Aberme Ayaka nodded firmly. Nothing can stop her from pursuing freedom. Even death is not allowed. And compared to Denso, Li Quan's character is much better. Not only was he very powerful, but he also took immediate action when she asked for help to save her sister. This kind of person would not embarrass her sister even after she died. That's enough. Then, she started to take off her clothes in front of Li Quan. Instantly, Li Quan was dumbfounded. He swallowed subconsciously and immediately regained his composure. Who said you have to take off your clothes when taking a medicinal bath? But since Aberme Ayaka did this, he didn't mind continuing to appreciate it. It's my damn body. And Aberme Ayaka was stunned again after stepping into the medicinal bath. Surprisingly, there is no feeling of discomfort. Is this young boss cheating her? There was doubt in her eyes and she suddenly felt shy. Why does this young boss look so much like an adult? There seemed to be no shyness in the eyes of a child. There is only that non-lustful appreciation. It's like looking at a perfect work of art. But, wasn't she already in the bathtub? What on earth is this little boss looking at? A blush appeared on her face, and steam rose from Aberme Ayaka's head. Aberme Caxiang suddenly found that she was shy because a child was staring at her. Obviously, she just wanted to provoke the young boss. But now, what the hell is going on? The next second, her head sank into the water, and bubbles began to gurgle on the surface of the water. On the side, Li Quan narrowed his eyes. After realizing his age, he no longer wanted to continue watching, except to take a few more glances at Aberme Ayaka. Instead, he used the Daladongwan to observe the changes in Aberme Ayaka's body. He must know the formula of the primary quenching liquid and its specific effects. Otherwise, it would be difficult for him to promote it later. If you want to make money from primary quenching fluid for a long time, you must pass the quality test. Although the products produced by the system are all high quality. But he was still a little worried without verifying the specific results. Time, 2 hours passed. During this period, in order to make the medicine more effective, Li Quan heated the iron bathtub twice. I have to say that this primary body quenching liquid is really useful. After the first soak, Aberame Ayaka's physical strength was almost the same as when he first tempered his body with the red hand. However, the 3 uses of the primary quenching liquid must be separated by 1 day each time. In the next 2 days, after experimenting with the effects of the quenching fluid, Li Quan nodded. Using the primary quenching liquid 3 times is equivalent to using the red hand to quench the body twice. He was very satisfied with the effect. After knowing the specific effect, he took the formula and went directly to the ninja hospital. Crackling when Li Quan arrived at the door of Tsunade's office, he suddenly heard the sound of something being smashed. Frowning, he pushed open the office door. Almost everything in the office was replaced. The overall tone has also turned into a warm orange. It's just that the documents scattered all over the floor and the broken glass shards really don't look good. Sister Tsunade, what are you doing? Hey, you're here, little pervert. The moment she saw Li Quan, the anger on Tsunade's face dissipated a little, and was replaced by a hint of joy. She is worried. A few days ago, the tribesmen went out of the village to carry out a mission. There were 3 teams, a total of 9 JA. Nin. As a result, not only did 2 people die, but the 7 people who came back alive were all injured. Although she could barely handle the blood, she still felt a lot of pressure when she had to do it herself. These were just the things she worried about. What really made Tsunade angry was that the information about this mission was leaked. Faintly, she smelled the scent of conspiracy. But there is no evidence, which is what bothers her the most. It's just right. I would have looked for you even if you hadn't come. You pervert, come with me first. Before he could react, Li Quan found that his body was suddenly suspended in the air. The next moment, he was held in Tsunade's arms. A ball-carrying attack, right? Oh, this damn feeling of oppression. Chapter 85. In the corridor of the ninja hospital, Tsunade held Li Quan and went directly to the high-rise operating room. Along the way, she also told Li Quan what happened. This made Li Quan slightly stunned. Since Naruto was born, Tsunade is the only one left in the Senju clan. After that, the entire Hokage world saw the emergence of the Senju clan, namely the impure world generation and the second generation. As for the others, no one was mentioned. And Tsunade has never been with her clan members. This is really worth pondering. Now, this kind of thing happened again, and he couldn't think too much about it. You know, the Senju clan is the founder of Konoha village. Besides the current Hokage, who else would have this ability? It must be said that Sarutobi Hiruzen's political methods towards his own people are extremely clever. That's right, the most powerful families in the ninja world are all in Konoha. Sarutobi Hiruzen had such a good hand, but he messed it up in the end. The Senju and Uchiha clans were exterminated. The Hyuga clan, who possess the Byakugan, can even send the clan leader's younger brother to take the blame. For a moment, he didn't know what to say. This matter was probably done by Hiruzen and Danzo. Even if there is no evidence, he can't say anything. Soon after, Tsunade brought Li Quan to a big door. Before entering the door, Li Quan smelled a faint smell of blood. Tsunade's body was already tense at this moment, and her complexion also became not very good looking. Strong girl, are you afraid of blood? You're the only one who's clever? Didn't you know this a long time ago? Tsunade rolled her eyes. She understood that Li Quan wanted to use teasing to make her feel relaxed. But she hasn't fully accepted it yet. Li Quan also understands this. Tsunade now has no experience of traveling abroad. It's not like when facing Naruto, seeing the shadow of rope tree on Naruto can overcome the hemophobia. But the current situation is actually much better than before. At least Tsunade can still stand. Tsunade took a deep breath, adjusted herself, and then slowly pushed open the door in front of her. What comes into view is a long corridor. This area is a clean area. Li Quan was quickly taught to complete the cleaning process and put on surgical clothes. The 2 of them went together to an operating room. Looking at the busy medical ninjas, Tsunade signaled everyone to stop temporarily. When everyone saw Tsunade, they immediately looked over with admiration. Lady Tsunade, we can actually come here. A very tall man spoke to Tsunade seriously. However, Li Quan saw the admiration in his eyes. One of Tsunade's suitors? What's the fuss? Is this the time to joke? No matter how powerful medical ninjutsu is, can it regenerate a severed limb? However, Tsunade just looked at everyone indifferently and scolded them. Everyone get out. The powerful aura instantly made everyone tremble. As the crowd was cleared out, Tsunade's body suddenly softened. Are you sure, little pervert? As for regenerating a severed limb, I haven't tried it much. Looking at the man with a broken arm who was obviously under deep anesthesia, Li Quan said uncertainly. He hasn't fully tested the function of the red hand yet. He has treated many minor injuries. He had successfully changed his body and appearance before. The only thing he had no experience with was the regeneration of severed limbs. But Tsunade on the side was shocked. What did she hear? Regeneration of severed limbs? No, this kind of miracle can also be achieved by the bloodline limit of the perverted little devil? Are you kidding me? She brought Li Quan here this time not only to quickly heal the injuries of her tribesmen. He also wanted to hide his hemophobia from Li Quan. But now, haha. Tsunade suddenly felt like she was crazy. How could I believe this pervert? You little pervert, you need to be responsible for what you say. I don't expect you to be able to regenerate severed limbs. You just need to use your special ability to quickly heal these people of my tribe. Why, you still don't trust me? Li Quan rolled his eyes. If the person next to him hadn't been Tsunade, he would have turned around and left. The two were partners now, and Tsunade was on his side. For the future, we will work together to sell the primary quenching liquid. He didn't mind exposing some more things to Tsunade. That is, can Red Hand's current ability regenerate severed limbs? This is a very serious issue. Don't ask anything. Let me take a look. If I can't do it now, maybe I can do it later. Shaking his head slightly, Li Quan came to the man. A red light also appeared in the palm of his hand. As his mind moved, Red Hand automatically began to treat the man with the broken arm on the operating table. With the continuous injection of energy, the man's injuries began to recover quickly. 3 minutes later, only the broken arm was left, which looked quite awkward. Li Quan, on the other hand, frowned. In his feeling, it seemed that there was only one step left. As long as he takes that step, he will be able to regenerate his severed limbs. But it's just a little bit short. Red Hand proficiency is not enough. Li Quan reacted instantly. This is a bit frustrating. The boast that was blown out seems to have been blown apart. How embarrassing. Trying hard to recall what happened after he got the Red Hand, Li Quan narrowed his eyes. It seems that 40% proficiency is the dividing line of Red Hand's ability. If I want to continue to improve, besides extracting proficiency from the system, what other methods are there? After pondering for a long time, Li Quan suddenly thought of a detail. It is very likely that he lacks the necessary theoretical knowledge. To master the body with red hands, first of all, you need to understand the body. Change the body itself is complete. But when the body is created and regenerated, it is not complete. This requires him to know what a normal body looks like. Instantly, Li Quan started laughing. He is too lazy to learn that thing, so it would be a waste if he didn't use the cheat. He still has the Daluo cave observation now. Observing the man's other intact arm, he once again activated the ability of the red hand. This time, as the chi in his body continued to surge out. On the hospital bed, intact blood vessels and nerves emerged from the man's broken arm. Next, the flesh, blood, and bones regenerate. 10 minutes passed. As the chi in Li Quan's body was consumed by 1/3, the man in front of him also changed from a broken arm to a complete body. How's it going? The broken limbs are regenerated. Isn't that amazing? But Tsunade, who had been watching the scene, was dumbfounded. This kind of thing can no longer be described by common sense, right? Miracle, incredible miracle. Even the Katsuyu immortal in the wet bone forest might not be able to do this. This is what I have always pursued, the ultimate in medical skills. Unexpectedly, the little kid in front of her had already accomplished what she hadn't done. At the beginning, if I had such ability. Shengshu, Duan, and those tribesmen who died in the battle, maybe. A feeling of greed suddenly arose in her heart, and Tsunade looked at Li Quan's right hand excitedly. But out of reason. That hint of greed was quickly suppressed by Tsunade. Li Quan has already demonstrated this ability in front of her. That means this little pervert truly recognizes her as his sister. And with her personality, she would never snatch Li Quan's blood limit. She was very sorry that she couldn't study. After all, bloodline limit is an innate ability. On the other side, after healing the Senjo clan member with a broken arm, Li Quan suddenly discovered that the properties of his panel had changed. Chapter 86. Red Hand of Dual Hands, Proficiency, 45% ability unlocked, broken limbs regenerated, double arms. Looking at this description, Li Quan became confused. At the same time, a large amount of knowledge about human arms suddenly appeared in his brain. This made him stunned again. Quite interesting. Actually imparting knowledge directly to him. But that's true, with the system, he just needs to focus on making money. With enough money, what is missing? However, he was surprised that there was an explanation for the term. Up to now, there are not many skills with entry explanations. This time, I think I encountered a bug. If it can be done, the body can be completely reconstructed. How proficient will Red Hand be? 60%? Or 80%? After that, can he still use Daluo Dongguan to continue to exploit the system bug? Sister Tsunade, go ahead. I have something else to talk to you about later. As he spoke, Li Quan came to Tsunade. Oh, okay. Still immersed in shock, Tsunade's thoughts were suddenly pulled back. In an instant, she had a plan. Li Quan's ability must not be exposed. Otherwise, the consequences would be extremely serious. It seems that these 7 tribesmen who were cured will have to keep their identities secret from now on. Time came to noon. Sitting in Tsunade's office, Li Quan looked around. Tsunade went to arrange the affairs of her clan members, so he stayed here temporarily. After some successful card bug, he raised his red hand proficiency to 52%. Now, except for the head and the torso, he can use his red hand to regenerate his hands, feet, limbs, and internal organs. Apparently, the limit of body regeneration is when the red hand proficiency reaches 60%. What is the next step to achieve mastery, 60% to 80%? Fabricated out of thin air? If that were really the case, it could be considered the realm of immortals. Just as Quan's thoughts were flying, Tsunade pushed the door and walked in. Behind him were 3 masked tribesmen. 2 men and 1 woman. They were 3 of the 7 people he cured. Sister Tsunade, what are you doing? From now on, they are yours. Tsunade looked at Quan seriously and said. The 3 of them immediately knelt on one knee and said in unison, "Thank you for saving my life, Master." Hearing the word Master, Quan's face stiffened a little. The era in his previous life made him hate these 2 words that did not treat people as human beings. But changing places and playing with others to have some fun is another matter. Sister Tsunade, this is not necessary. On the side, Tsunade shook her head. No, it is necessary. They still have a complete body now, all thanks to you. And letting them follow you is not only to protect your safety, but also to prevent others from getting close to you. The most important thing is that you can completely trust these 3 people. After a pause, Tsunade continued, some things cannot be known to outsiders, so in the eyes of outsiders, they are already dead. Originally, I wanted to bring all 7 of them together, but there aren't many members of the Senju clan. So from now on, we'll let these 3 of them be responsible for preventing others from peeping. Oh well. Hearing Tsunade's resolute tone, Quan nodded. Since you can't refuse, just accept it. And Tsunade's reasons were quite sufficient. Call me little boss, master, or something like that. I'm not really used to it. Yes, little boss. As the words fell, the 3 of them immediately disappeared and began to lurk around. By the way, you pervert, don't you want to tell me something else? Seeing Quan agreed, Tsunade smiled happily. Here? I have a big treasure, do you want to see it? Sitting at the table, smiling with narrowed eyes, Quan looked at Tsunade mysteriously. Just as he said this, he suddenly felt something strange. What's wrong? Never mind. Oh. Tsunade raised an eyebrow in confusion. What is so mysterious? Then, she saw a bottle of dark blue liquid medicine in Quan's hand. After hearing about the effects of the medicine, Tsunade narrowed her eyes. Medicinal bath, she had taken it when she was a child. She also often took Bing Liang pills when she was on a mission. But the effects of these things are not particularly good. Especially the Bing Liang pills, they taste terrible. When she is not performing tasks, she doesn't even want to touch it. No, are you sure you want to do business with this kind of treasure? Tsunade looked at Quan in confusion, somewhat confused. Are you so short of money? This kind of treasure can enhance the family's foundation. With this thing, the children in the family will be much stronger than others when they start practicing. After that, you will be one step ahead in learning taijutsu and ninjutsu. If you do business with this kind of thing, wouldn't that make others jealous? Sitting at the table, Quan nodded naturally. Business must be done. But the specific method, hee. Seeing the smile in Quan's eyes, Tsunade immediately understood. You mean, reduce effectiveness? No. Shaking his head, Quan said, there are many ways to do business, and cutting back is just one of them. Scarcity makes things valuable. We can also go for the high-end route. We can even sell in batches. Aren't these all okay? Quan's eyes were already shining as he talked about the marketing methods of those unscrupulous businesses in his past life. At this moment, he seemed to have seen the scene of money waving to him endlessly. That's all it took. How much can a primary quenching liquid sell for? 10,000, 100,000, or 3 or 500,000. If this continues, it won't be long before the Senju clan becomes the richest clan. However, you still need to exercise restraint. Selling too many may exacerbate the plight of the Senju clan. So it needs to be sold in a fixed quantity. Isn't this a bad idea? Listening to these plans, Tsunade felt a little numb. To be honest, she is not good at business. Even the operation of the ninja hospital is done by the Senju clan. As the clan leader, she is a hands-off manager most of the time. Plus these 4 years of decadence. The methods Quan mentioned almost overturned her cognition. Alas, Sister Tsunade, you are just too kind. Is what we sell ineffective, or will it hurt people? I don't think so. He asked and answered his own questions and smiled confidently. In that case, shouldn't we set the price ourselves? It seems to be true. Tsunade nodded, feeling somewhat moved. She always felt that it was not very moral to do so. But if it really succeeds, the Senju clan's lack of money situation may be greatly improved. Come, let's discuss the details. After thinking it over again and making a decision, Tsunade also smiled. When you make money in the village, it is other people's money. If you succeed, you make money, if you fail, you lose money. This seems to be similar to gambling. 2 days later. The Sarutobi clan's territory, inside the training ground. Sarutobi Biwako brought a bottle of light blue potion and found Sarutobi Asuma who was practicing physical skills hard. Asuma, come here quickly, I have prepared a gift for you. Hearing his mother's voice, Sarutobi Asuma stopped. Gift? What gift? Because Quan was injured and didn't come to school, he missed the midterm exam, so he didn't go to take it. However, even though Quan was not in school, Yahai Kurane ignored him. Right now, he was in no mood to open the gifts. Chapter 87. You are such a jerk, kid. When have I ever framed you? Standing outside the training ground, Sarutobi Biwako pretended to be angry. Her husband, Sarutobi Hiruzen, has to deal with various village affairs every day and assign tasks to ninjas. I rarely have time to spend with my two sons. So she is the one taking care of the two sons most of the time. She has seen Asuma Sarutobi's efforts in recent times. My youngest son has just entered the ninja school and he is working so hard. She saw it with her own eyes and felt the pain in her heart. Just yesterday, the Senju clan store launched a medicinal bath product. This product, called Primary Quenching Liquid, is priced at 10,000 taels. It is said that it can strengthen the ninja's physique. However, it can only be used 10 times at most. There should be a 5-hour interval between each use. Although it is a bit expensive, it is not unacceptable given the financial resources of the Sarutobi clan. If it were someone else, selling this product, Sarutobi Biwako would definitely call you a liar. But, this is something Tsunade researched. Tsunade is the founder of the ninja hospital and the most powerful medical ninjutsu in the village. Moreover, she is her husband's disciple. Without any hesitation, she bought 10 bottles. With these 10 bottles of primary body quenching liquid, Asuma's strength will surely improve rapidly. By then, Asuma will be very happy too. Thinking of this, Sarutobi Biwako waved to Sarutobi Asuma. Come here, you will definitely like this gift. Inside the training ground, Asuma looked at his mother helplessly, and finally walked out of the training ground obediently. Mother, please stop keeping me in suspense, okay? I still have to train. Alas, after glaring at Asuma, Sarutobi Biwako reached out and held him in his arms. Little guy, what's wrong with taking a rest? Can't you just spend some time with your mother? Okay, I'll do as you say. Soon after, the two came to a spacious bathroom. In the bathroom, looking at the huge wooden barrel, Asuma was confused. This is good stuff. Sarutobi Biwako smiled mysteriously. Put Sarutobi Asuma in the bathtub. She told Asuma about the effects of the primary quenching fluid. Suddenly, Asuma's eyes lit up. With this body-hardening fluid, he will definitely be able to defeat Li Quan. By then, Yahai Kurane will also turn his attention to me. There is a drugstore on the central street of Konoha village. Just yesterday, this drugstore changed its name to Senjodu. The idea was naturally changed by Tsunade after listening to Li Quan's suggestion. What is the most important thing in doing business? Its reputation and brand. Tsunade, who is certified by the daimyo of the Land of Fire and holds the title of princess, has the best reputation. As for this brand, Tsunade naturally thought of the Senju clan's emblem. Thus, the brand logo with the Senju clan emblem and the 3 big Chinese characters Senju Hall was created. And on the second floor of Senju Hall, Li Quan and Tsunade were enthusiastically discussing the first big enemy, Sarutobi Biwako. The original primary quenching liquid is 3 portions for a complete course of treatment. After using it 3 times, it has no effect. However, after a whole day of experiments yesterday, the two diluted 1 portion into 10 portions to sell. In other words, if you want to fully enjoy the effect of the primary quenching liquid, gotta buy 30 copies. At first, Tsunade was a little embarrassed. After all, she had also seen the raw materials of the quenching fluid. Purchase the materials for 3 complete recipes from outside, for a maximum of 1,000 taels. According to Senjutang's pricing, that's 30 times more. This kind of huge profit makes money much faster than gambling. Well, they are all from the same village, and she really doesn't want to cheat others. But when I think about the Senju clan, it will take a lot of money to revive them. The funding gap at the ninja hospital is also huge. Tsunade had nothing to say. You know, she invested all the 80 million into the ninja hospital, which was enough to stabilize the situation of the ninja hospital. Otherwise, the ninja hospital might not even be called Senju. Since all the major families are dividing up the interests of her Senju family, why can't she make money from the major families? And because it is a high-end product, the pricing is set accordingly. Only the major families and wealthy ninjas can afford it. Just like what Li Quan said, there is no business without fraud. But, Li Quan, don't you think this is unfair to the civilian ninjas? Looking at the villagers bustling about on the roadside with some sympathy, Tsunade suddenly frowned and asked. There is no fairness in this world. On the side, Li Quan shook his head slightly. Super strong woman, judging by my breasts, if I and Rope Tree were not the same, if I did not have the ability to awaken. Do you think you'll talk to me here? Instantly, Tsunade fell silent. That's true, but those people are from the village after all. In her eyes, there is no distinction between high and low people. Even gamblers have their shining points. Don't worry about this problem. There is no such thing as a product that doesn't fail and has some defects, right? We can definitely launch a defective product with side effects. For example, when using it, it will cause extreme pain, or something like that. If the drug's effectiveness remains, then use it as normal. Having said that, Li Quan put down the drink in his hand. Rich people spend money purely for enjoyment. But ordinary people are reluctant to spend money. As long as it's cheap and effective, they won't mind even if it hurts a little. But I'm not very good at this, so I'll have to rely on you to do it. Listening to Li Quan's words, Tsunade looked over strangely. Is this something a child could say? He sees things more clearly than even an adult like her. This lecherous little brat is so precocious that he's a bit of a demon. Sometimes, I really feel that there is an adult soul inside your body. How about I open your brain and take a look? Tsunade said half-jokingly and shook her head. How could this happen? Well, let's do as you say. Standing up and stretching, Tsunade touched Li Quan's head. As expected of a child chosen by Sage of Six Paths, his intelligence and talent are truly amazing. In the past few days, Minato Namikaze has told her what happened before. Naturally, Tsunade linked Li Quan and Sage of Six Paths together. And in Tsunade's eyes, the primary quenching fluid became a gift from the Sage of Six Paths to Li Quan. But what made her speechless was Li Quan, this pervert, actually makes money with this kind of treasure. I wonder if Sage of Six Paths will hang this pervert up and beat him after finding out? And at the table, Li Quan's hands were a little stiff. For a moment, he almost thought Tsunade knew his secret. Being with Tsunade is still a little too relaxing. It seems that I have to maintain my own personality from now on. Late at night, just after Li Quan returned to his home, the string of beads in his hand suddenly lit up with white light. Sitting on the sofa, Li Quan thought about the suitcase that Hatake Sakumo had given him before. At that time, there was a special ninja tool in the suitcase. It is this string of beads he is wearing on his hand at this moment. Hatake Sakumo once said that they could communicate through this special ninja tool. However, since there was nothing to do, he never used it after putting it on his wrist. Little boss, there are 2 pieces of news. Which one do you want to hear? Chapter 88. Late at night, at Li Quan's home. Looking at the bracelet on his wrist, Li Quan pursed his lips helplessly. He suddenly realized that he had forgotten something. He has no chakra. It seems that he cannot use this special ninja tool. After some tinkering, he activated his chi, but still couldn't communicate with Hatake Sakumo. Who could have thought this would be the result? However, there are still many solutions. After taking out the magic sword Thousand Blades, Li Quan communicated with his mind and successfully activated the bracelet. It looks like I'll have to find a tailed beast in the future. The energy system is not universal, which is ultimately a big problem. As you wish. Amount. There was a long silence on the other end of the voice. Hatake Sakumo didn't understand why Li Quan was so less curious. After a long time, Hatake Sakumo's voice was heard again. Well, little boss, I have now joined the Akatsuki organization. It's expected. If you don't have it, then you can't do it. Once again, Hatake Sakumo fell silent. How can a man be told no by others? Although Kakashi's mother died early, he is still in good health. For some reason, Hatake Sakumo had the urge to beat up Li Quan. It can be imagined that he couldn't win, so he just wilted. In a sense, he really doesn't seem to be able to do it. My mentality exploded. Are you going to say more? If not, I'll hang up. At home, sitting on the sofa, Li Quan said impatiently. He remembered most of the Hokage world. Maybe it was just some minor details that he didn't remember very clearly. If what Hatake Sakumo was talking about was something important, then he must know about it. If it's a small matter, then there's no need. Small things can't affect him for the time being. No, I'll tell you right away. Although he didn't know what hang up meant, Hatake Sakumo could guess it. After clearing his throat, he said solemnly, Nagato of the Akatsuki organization seems to have the same eyes as the Sage of Six Paths. No, that's it. Instantly, Li Quan stopped supplying chakra to his opponent. To others, this may be extremely important information. It's of no use to him. This is completely consuming the chakra stored in the demonic sword Thousand Blades. But soon, the bracelet flashed again. The other side. Hatake Sakumo had already expected this. But after realizing Li Quan's nonchalant attitude, he was still shocked. It seems that the boss has known about this for a long time. No wonder the boss let him join this organization. By the way, what is the identity of the small boss? Could it be that he is not a disciple of those immortals, but a certain immortal? Why do I feel like I know everything? Little boss, don't get excited, let's continue chatting. How's Kakashi doing lately? It's safe for now, but are you sure you don't want me to protect Kakashi? Aren't you afraid that Kakashi will be brainwashed? Li Quan asked the long-standing doubt in his heart. If it weren't for Hatake Sakumo's request, Kakashi would have contacted him long ago. In fact, sometimes, some of the beliefs in the village are quite good. But I also want Kakashi to get more exposure to the dark side of the village. I hope this child has the ability to judge right from wrong. I will also intervene at critical moments. Afterwards, the two chatted about some recent events. Keenly, Li Quan heard a very important message. The Kazekage of the Sand Village seems to have some health problems. The current Kazekage is the 3rd generation Kazekage, right? How could this Kazekage be in such bad health when he is still young and strong? Red Sand Scorpion. Instantly, Li Quan thought of this person. The death of the 3rd generation Kazekage was the trigger for the 3rd Ninja World War. The death of this Kazekage was caused by Scorpion. The fact that a man known as the strongest Kazekage could be killed by Scorpion is problematic in itself. Either poisoning or sneak attack. Li Quan prefers the former. Did Scorpion start planning to assassinate Kazekage at this time? Or is there some other reason? Now that Hatake Sakumo is alive and has left Konoha village, Sasori's revenge may come earlier than expected. This may be a variable. Be prepared as early as possible so you won't be caught off guard. 3 days later. As Senju Hall's primary quenching fluid became famous. For a time, Senju Hall was packed with people. However, only 90 portions of the diluted primary quenching liquid were sold, and then the sale was stopped. 90 servings, which is the complete amount for 3 people. But except for the beginning when Sarutobi Biwako sold 10 copies at a time, the rest were sold one by one. The purpose of doing this is naturally to avoid attracting attention and add hunger marketing. The improvement of physical fitness is easy to notice. Therefore, many people came to Senju Hall immediately after discovering its effects. However, when they saw the notice that had just been posted, their faces fell. Are you kidding? It will take a month for the next supply. That's nothing. Didn't you see that the price would go up? I was saying, how could such a good bath lotion be cheap? Yes, probably to expand sales. Ah, Senju Hall must have better primary quenching fluids. Listen to the word, primary. I wonder how much the better ones cost. Everyone shook their heads and sighed. In the crowd, the members of the major families who were preparing to purchase more primary body quenching liquid also looked unhappy. According to statistics, 90 units of primary body quenching liquid were sold in just 3 days. That's 900,000 taels. When doing business, how can there be a loss-making business? Although people from the major families are not clear about the formula and cost of this medicinal bath. But it won't be too high. It may be impossible to mass produce it now, so the Senju clan is supplying it in limited quantities. But what happens next? When the formula is nearly mature, how many tens of thousands of copies can be mass produced? There aren't that many ninjas in the village. But the Senju clan also has businesses outside the village. Don't forget, the price of this thing will continue to increase. It has to be admitted that the major families are jealous. Just when the major families were preparing to continue negotiations with the Senju clan, Tsunade has arrived at the ninja school. Today is the day for the makeup exam. In order to prevent any accidents, Tsunade arrived here early. Because theoretical knowledge is totally meaningless. So she sat in the stands around the playground, flipping through a medical book and waiting. Tsunade, are you free to come over today? Suddenly, a voice rang in her ears, making Tsunade frown. Patriarch Fugaku, is it appropriate for you to come to me in person? Looking up at the tall man, Tsunade closed the book in her hand with a very cold tone. The current Senju clan has just stabilized the situation not long ago. At this time, if the Senju clan came into contact with the Uchiha clan, they would be in trouble. It's appropriate. What's wrong with that? After all, the village was built by our 2 tribes. In theory, the relationship between our 2 tribes should be better. Uchiha Fugaku shook his head indifferently. I don't want to talk about this today. Maybe you can come another day. As she spoke, Tsunade looked behind Uchiha Fugaku. The Yamanaka clan, the Nara clan, the Sarutobi clan. Knowing her location, the patriarchs of all the major families came. It's for the primary quenching fluid. That's a good idea. She hasn't finished dealing with the matters of the ninja hospital yet, and now she has set her sights on the primary body quenching fluid. One by one, like vultures smelling carrion, they came following the scent. Overlooked Hokage adults. Turning around and looking at the person who came, Uchiha Fugaku smiled awkwardly. Although I don't have a good impression of him, I still want to do the face-saving project. However, Sarutobi Hiruzen just looked at Tsunade seriously. Go to the Hokage building and hold a meeting of Konoha's top leaders. Tisk, I'm not interested, I won't go. Chapter 89. On the stands of the playground. As Tsunade finished speaking, Sarutobi Hiruzen's face instantly darkened. He is the Hokage of Konoha. Moreover, he is Tsunade's teacher. How many times has this happened? When there were few people around before, Tsunade refuted him in front of him, but he didn't say anything. But now it's in front of all the top leaders of Konoha. At this moment, Sarutobi Hiruzen felt that his authority had suffered a serious blow. The current senior leaders of Konoha village are the patriarchs of the 10 major families and several consultants of the older generation. These people jointly manage all aspects of Konoha. Tsunade just didn't give him face in front of everyone. What will happen to him in the future? Looking at Tsunade seriously, Sarutobi Hiruzen shouted, Tsunade, don't be angry. The things we are discussing in the meeting concern the future of the village. Then you guys go and open it. Why are you asking me for help? Isn't my opinion dispensable? Sitting on a chair, Tsunade crossed her legs and continued to flip through the medical book nonchalantly. You. Ahem. Looking at Tsunade angrily, Sarutobi Hiruzen suddenly coughed twice. For a moment, the smoke he inhaled came out of his nasal cavity. Even the pipe in his mouth slipped out of his mouth and fell to the ground. Snap! The wooden pipe broke into 4 or 5 pieces with a slight sound. Teacher, please smoke less. You are old and smoking too much is not good for your health. Tsunade turned a page of the book without even raising her head. This scene made Sarutobi Hiruzen very angry. How could he not understand that Tsunade was still angry about the proposal to add medical ninjas to the ninja team? But how long has it been? How tense was the situation at that time? During the Second Ninja World War, most of Konoha's ninjas were on the front lines, and the village had no time to train a large number of medical ninjas. In this matter, Sarutobi Hiruzen did not think he had done anything wrong. Now, hasn't the proposal been implemented? But Tsunade still remembers this. Subconsciously, Sarutobi Hiruzen glanced at Shimura Danzo. It seemed that it was not long after that incident that Kato Dan died in battle. So from that time on, this old rival was ready to alienate the relationship between him and Tsunade? And don't think he didn't hear it. Tsunade's subsequent words of concern for him were meant to taunt him. The time that the first and second generation served as Hokage was not as long as he served as Hokage. It's ironic that he's old and it's time for him to die. How come Tsunade's words have become so vicious after not seeing her for a while? And his attitude towards himself became more and more incomprehensible. Did I reveal some secret? Aside. Shimura Danzo turned his head naturally. The matter of tempering the body fluid was initiated by Sarutobi Hiruzen. His original intention was to steal the formula in secret. As for Kato Dan's affairs, as long as he doesn't say anything, he knows nothing. The other clan leaders couldn't help but laugh at this moment. They rarely see Sarutobi Hiruzen lose his composure. And the reason is Tsunade, the apprentice of Sarutobi Hiruzen. However, the benefits of tempering body fluid are too great. Once each clan gets a share of the pie, the overall strength of Konoha village will be greatly increased. Konoha village is the strongest among all the ninja villages. Although the generation gap is quite serious now. But with this body quenching liquid, things are completely different. Chief Tsunade, please come and talk with us. Everything is for the better development of Konoha. Why do you have to take me with you? Tsunade raised her head in confusion and looked at Yamanaka Hai who was speaking. She naturally understood what these people wanted. But, why? In Konoha village, the Senjo clan is not the only one that has treasures. Since it's for Konoha, why don't the major families exchange their own treasures? You must be dreaming if you want her to hand over the formula of primary body quenching liquid. However, after being with that kid Li Chuan for a long time, I seem to have picked up some of his habits. Hiding, bad-mouthing, an indifferent attitude. She learned all these from Li Chuan. I have to say, this little pervert is in a really good mental state. Doing this, I seem to feel much more relaxed. However, everyone's faces turned dark when they saw Tsunade pretending to be stupid. What can they do about this? You can't force action, right? There are still people in the Senjo clan, and Tsunade's identity is there. To put it bluntly, Konoha village is the armed force of the Land of Fire. If anything happens to Tsunade, the princess chosen by the Fire Nation's daimyo, the Fire Nation's top leaders will definitely hold them accountable. By then, they can't afford the consequences. Joining forces to force the emperor to abdicate, it seemed like a joke in an instant. This heavy punch seemed to hit cotton and had no effect at all. Right at this moment. In the teaching building not far away. A bear-may came out of the tree with 5 children. Yahai Kurane, Might Guy, Seiki Kakashi, Sarutobi Asuma, and Li Chuan who looks relaxed. Li Quan's ease was naturally due to Yahai Kurane. Originally, he was ready to steal the test paper. But the day before yesterday, Yahai Kurane found him and gave him special treatment. This was something Li Chuan had never expected. What surprised him even more was that Yahai Kurane was also a top student in elementary school. Then Li Chuan gave up the idea of a euro stealing the test paper. With the help of Yahai Kurane, he completed the 3rd Hokage deed survey form without any pressure. Since the calculation only accounts for 1/10 of it, he has even less pressure. He was confident that he could complete calculations at the 3rd grade primary school level on his own. As for the upcoming practical test, Li Chuan is ready to show off his skills. After all, he is only slightly inferior to Kakashi. It's been 2 months since the start of the school year. It's unacceptable that there has been no progress at all. But when he saw the people around Tsunade, he was stunned. Lots of familiar faces. Sarutobi Hajiri, Shimura Danzo, Uchiha Fuji. The others, wouldn't they be the clan leaders of the various clans? These people are all masters from the major families in Konoha village. Coming here for the primary quenching liquid? Hey? Why are you still looking at it? Silently shrinking his neck and pretending to be scared, Li Chuan moved his body behind Kakashi. It's not easy to do. It's quite difficult to act under the noses of these people. Why don't these people leave? Aren't you here for the primary quenching liquid? Could it be that he came to see me because of the speed at which I was exposed? Did I finally catch the eyes of these people? Li Chuan wanted to use telepathy to ask Tsunade, but after seeing Yamanaka Hai, he decisively gave up. It is hard to tell what Yamanaka Feng is, but it is not certain about Yamanaka Hai. Let's take it one step at a time. Try your best to play your character well and just maintain the status quo. Are you all ready? Bringing the 5 people to the center of the playground, a bear Mayusha suddenly stopped. Seeing the 5 people nodding, he subconsciously glanced at Sarutobi Hiruzen on the stands. Before he could say anything else, 5 masked ninjas used the technique of instant body movement and appeared behind him. Seeing this, a bear Mayuki continued, because all 5 of you are taking makeup exams, the rules this time are different. These 5 are the chonin of the village. They will be your examiners. I want to get better grades in the midterm test. All you have to do is to stay in their hands long enough. When a bear Mayusha finished speaking, the 5 children were all stunned. Even Li Chuan was a little confused. Shouldn't they form groups of 2 and play the seal of opposition and reconciliation? What the hell is going on? Chapter 90. Teacher, why is this happening? On the playground, Sarutobi Asuma, who was originally very excited, suddenly asked indignantly. He worked so hard for this day. During these 3 days, he even forced himself to use up 30 bottles of primary body quenching liquid. The purpose is to defeat Li Chuan. But now, this is the situation. For a moment, he couldn't accept it. You should know that if you use 2 portions of the primary body quenching liquid at the same time, it will cause extreme pain in the body. in order to use up the 30 portions of body-quenching liquid as quickly as possible and strengthen the physique. He used 5 at once yesterday. But now, Abarameyuki actually told him that he couldn't beat Li Quan. What then is the suffering he has endured these days? Asuma was a little upset and looked at Li Quan angrily. The effect of the primary quenching fluid was naturally created by Tsunade. After all, they have to be purchased separately, so there must be measures. But Li Quan didn't quite understand why Asuma had such strong malice towards him. He didn't seem to have done anything to Asuma recently. In the crowd, Might Guy was also feeling lost. The gears of fate eventually tied him and Kakashi together. These days, Might Guy often competes with Kakashi in everything around him. Because Kakashi is willing, he will continue to fight with Li Quan through the midterm exam. So he applied for a makeup exam just like Kakashi. But now, he didn't have the chance to fight Kakashi, which made him very unhappy. Suddenly Might Guy thought of another way to compete with Kakashi. Kakashi, how about we compete to see who can last longer in the examiner's hands? Youth is passion. Aside. Looking at Might Guy with a gleam in his eyes, Kakashi rolled his eyes. Li Quan, after the assessment, I have something to ask you. Okay, everyone, be quiet. Looking at the 5 students whispering to each other, Abarameyushi's face turned cold. A bunch of thorns. Originally, he was going to rest today. But none of these 5 people gave him peace of mind. Li Quan had to make up the exam because of an injury. However, these other little guys could have finished the exam in one go, but they had to take them together. Is there something wrong with your brain? It's hard for workers. But the leader was watching from above, and among these 5 people there was the leader's child. For a moment, Abarameyushi felt a lot of pressure. It's just an exam, why all the nonsense? In an instant, the 5 children all shrank their necks. What a huge resentment. What happened to the teacher today? The eyes of several children were full of confusion. Then Abarame was seen with a tree, pointing to the first child. Yahai-kurane, you go first. As he said this, he led the others to the playground. For a moment, only Yahai-kurane and Chanin were left on the playground. In the stands in the distance, many children and parents have gathered at this moment. J.A. Nin, the sunset is crimson, and it's in there. Originally, he missed his daughter's battle exam because he was on a mission. But he didn't expect that Yahai-kurane didn't take the midterm exam. Accident. This good daughter actually has her own ideas. Why? Speaking of which, he had asked Hong to get in touch with Asuma after school started. I don't know how these 2 people are doing now. And why does it feel like Hong's temperament is a little different? When Yui Shinko was full of doubts. On the playground, Yahai-kurane had already used his tiny body to fight with the Chanin. At the same time, Orochimaru also came to the center of the stands. Oh, are you all here? Looking at the new clan leaders of the major families who were of the same generation as himself, Orochimaru greeted them coldly. Normally, he doesn't want to have contact with these big families. If it weren't for Li Quan's competition today, he wouldn't want to leave the laboratory. He already knew about the appearance of Sage of 6 Paths through the roots. Orochimaru was surprised by this. But he confirmed the fact that Li Quan was the Sage of 6 Paths. He even guessed that the theft of the root base was caused by Li Quan. There are not many people in the village who are capable but extremely short of money. Plus those elusive methods. Compared to the second generation's flying thunder god, it is much stronger. Apart from immortals, who else would have such magical powers? He said, how could the death of the Sage of 6 Paths recorded in the literature be true? The White Snake Immortal and Toad Sage have both lived for thousands of years. How could the most mysterious Sage of 6 Paths die so easily? Now, the young master should be reincarnated and don't want to reveal too much. As for Denso, Orochimaru doesn't care. He is so stingy that he has not been given any funding for his recent experiments. Still want him to contribute? That's a good idea. That's strange. No one responded to his words. It seems that all these people are looking at the playground. Subconsciously, Orochimaru also turned his gaze. Genjutsu? This kid's talent is something. This is Yui Shinko's child. On the side, Danzo narrowed his eyes and had some thoughts in his mind. The family in the village that excels in Genjutsu is the Uchiha clan. This child's Genjutsu may be used against Uchiha one day in the future. Just when everyone was surprised, Zihi Zhenhong raised her head proudly. But he didn't know anything about the Red Society Genjutsu. And as for Genjutsu, where did Hong learn it from? Or did Hong create it herself? It's a bit immature. It was difficult to deal with Chanin. I've been holding out for so long, I'm almost reaching my limit. Really? Just as Zihi Shinko was thinking this, the little girl on the playground suddenly loosened her hands. Chanin, who was stuck in the illusion and standing there in a daze, immediately took action. The next second, a wooden kunai was placed on Yahai-kurane's neck. 3 minutes and 10 seconds. Well done. Clapping his hands, Abarameyuki smiled with relief. There is a genius in the class, and this is all thanks to him. Although it took nearly 2 months, he had just finished chakra extraction and cultural courses. But what made him embarrassed was the next second, Yahai-kurane actually ran towards Li Quan and said happily, Mr. Li Quan, you are right. I really have a talent for genjutsu. Hong is amazing. Li Quan smiled and said. To be honest, he was not surprised at all. He had told Hong a long time ago that she should try to learn genjutsu. But at that time, Hong didn't think she had any talent in this area. He never mentioned it again after that. Apparently, Hong's mental strength has only increased recently. Why did Hong choose to learn genjutsu recently? Hearing Li Quan's praise, Yahai Kurane smiled a little embarrassedly. Let me tell you, I have been working hard for a long time. Watching the two of them chatting one sentence at a time. The faces of the people present all turned grim. Asuma, who was about to wave to Hong, had a distorted expression on his face. In the stands, Xiri Zhenhong looked at Li Quan very seriously, his brows twitching wildly. It's that BT who made the makeup recording. Why is Hong still with this kid? Can a child from a commoner family compare to Asuma's status? Asuma is such a shameless guy. He can't even please a girl, what a loser. Subconsciously glancing at Sarutobi Hiruzen not far away, Yui Shinko curled her lips. Oh, the Hokage's son is worse than a commoner. Seems to have some feelings. I turned my head, looking for that fleeting look of contempt. Sarutobi Hiruzen smoked his spare pipe, his eyes full of confusion. What's going on? Next, Kakashi, you go. At this time, a bear Mayushu ate the dog food. Based on the principle of out of sight, out of mind, the next dual exam was arranged. Directly. Chapter 91. One day, I was fed dog food by two children. This was something a bear Mayushu had never expected. He was born in Anbu and has been carrying out missions for many years, but he still hasn't found a girlfriend. The sight of Li Quan and Yahai Kurane chatting and laughing really made him feel upset. How can people be so miserable? I was called in at short notice and had to work overtime to invigilate the exam. Now I am being attacked by my children. I'm so upset, I might as well let him die, and put an end to it all. Hitaki Kakashi, hurry up. After a long period of no action, a bear Mayushu looked behind him. Not a human. Teacher, Kakashi has gone to the bathroom. I'll be next. Might Guy looked eager to try and raised his arms excitedly. He had never fought against Chanin. The only time he faced Chanin, it was Li Quan who helped him out. Therefore, he was also looking forward to this match. It's a pity that he hasn't yet learned the 8 gates escape technique his father taught him, so he probably won't be able to defeat the Chanin in front of him. Okay, come on, come on. A bear Mayusha waved his hand casually and said indifferently. The key today lies in Kakashi and Li Quan. The performance of the ceiling of these two classes is the most important. As for Asuma, the leader's child, let Chanin give him some slack. The next moment, Might Guy arrived at the center of the playground. Today, hold on for at least 5 minutes. If you can't do it, then do 2000 push UPS. Talking to himself, he struck a pose that he thought was extremely handsome. Senior, please teach me. Haha, little guy, 5 minutes is very difficult. Opposite Might Guy, Chanin, who was in charge of the assessment, smiled playfully. In the beginning, we will not give our best to your assessment. But you also saw how quickly that little girl was defeated 3 minutes later. As he said this, the Chanin pointed his chin at Yahai Kurane. Of course I know this, so I set a goal of 5 minutes. This is my youth. Weird little fellow. Looking at the confident Might Guy, the Chanin shook his head helplessly. According to the rules of this assessment, they will use ordinary Genin's physical skills within 3 minutes. After 3 minutes, they will use normal ninjutsu to enhance their bodies. After 4 minutes, they are allowed to use all ninjutsu. The 5-minute mark allowed them to show Chanin's true level. The 5 people didn't quite understand why. It can be used on a child who has just started school for 2 months and can delay it for 5 minutes. Then his service as a Chanin would be in vain. However, before he could react, Might Guy took action. The speed was so fast that it scared him. However, it is not enough to make him lose. However, the scene of the two fighting attracted everyone's attention. Another genius. Moreover, he is a physical genius. Looking at the extremely fast-moving figure, a bear Mayuki seemed to have returned to the past, when he was secretly watching the battle between Li Quan and Kakashi in the teaching building. However, Might Guy's speed was obviously much slower than Li Quan's at that time. But this is surprising enough. In the center of the stands, Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded. It was indeed the seedling he had chosen before. It seems that letting Might Guy join the ninja school is a very correct decision. Also, this child seems to have a lot of chakra in his body. I just feel like this kid is not very good at controlling himself. Not good at it. After that, a bear Mayusha was asked to teach specifically. Subconsciously glancing at Li Quan, Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at Tsunade again. To be honest, if it weren't for the fact that all the senior executives noticed Tsunade's gaze, they would have been staring at Li Quan intentionally or unintentionally. They wouldn't wait until now. Tsunade will always leave when the makeup exam is over. By that time, Tsunade would have to discuss it with them. Don't blame them for turning against you. But today, there are still many surprises for Sarutobi Hiruzen. I actually witnessed the emergence of 2 geniuses. This shows that his policy of recuperation was completely correct. There is also a policy of treating children as jade. The premise is that these children are useful to him. It seems that my youngest son seems to be interested in Yahai Kurane. Do you want to help Asuma secretly? Things like feelings should be cultivated from childhood, otherwise it will be difficult to deal with when you grow up. As for the little guy Li Quan, like the Kakashi, it is a knife that needs to be sharpened. The theoretical course of this midterm exam is the moment to test the results of the brainwashing in the past 2 months. We need to pay special attention to those children who do not perform well in school. He has no dream of becoming Hokage, no heart for the village, and does not understand his contribution to the village as the strongest Hokage. How can I trust him as the Hokage after that? Just when Sarutobi Hiruzen was daydreaming, Kakashi came to Li Quan and asked with interest, Li Quan, how about we go to the back mountain to fight after the assessment? Not interested. Li Quan shook his head casually. But his eyes were carefully watching Might Guy's fight. Li Quan had originally planned to use the midterm exam to snatch the title of copy ninja from Kakashi. But before that, it was delayed because of Nine Tails matter. Now he naturally would not miss this opportunity. At this moment, Li Quan also discovered the pattern of these Chunin examiners. In 1 to 3 minutes, the strength displayed by these Chunin examiners will gradually increase. Before, Yahai used Taijutsu to fight with the examiner Chunin for 2 minutes. With more than 10 seconds left before 3 minutes, Yahai used Genjutsu to delay time. Wait for 3 minutes to pass. The first Chunin examiner used the instant body flickering technique and ended the battle in an instant. It's just that it was used too quickly. Li Quan did not remember how to activate the teleportation technique. I hope Might Guy can give some help. You can hold on for another 40 seconds. It would be best if you could force the second examiner to use more ninjutsu. 3 minutes passed in a flash. The second examiner also started to exert his strength. He formed seals instantly, and for a moment, the muscles in his legs began to activate. And his speed suddenly increased. Edge of the playground. This time, Li Quan finally saw clearly how the body flickering technique used chakra to activate the body. Recalling how chakra worked, he urged chi to move within his body. At this point, Li Quan is not afraid of being discovered while using the chi in his body. After all, the Haiga clan leader had already used his Byakugan to observe the battle. But until now, the chief of the Haiga clan has not even looked at him. That proves one thing. With this level of rolling eyes, it is estimated that chi cannot be detected. Are you afraid of a hammer? Just study with peace of mind. There is enough ninjutsu to disguise it, so that he won't look out of place when he uses colored chi in various skills. And he can also use the name of Chakra with special attributes. Conceal the origin of chi. Li Quan doesn't want to be targeted by others when he uses his abilities in the future because he doesn't have Chakra. Therefore, using chi to disguise Chakra is what he must do. Ninjutsu, Shadow Clone Technique. Suddenly, the examiner Chunin shouted. The second Chunin examiner who appeared, condensed a huge amount of Chakra and quickly separated a part of it. After a burst of white smoke passed by, a figure that looked exactly like the examiner immediately appeared on the field. It's finally here. Seeing this scene, Li Quan's mouth curled up. After learning this ninjutsu, his subsequent actions will be much easier. He can even use Hatake Sakumo to release the condensed shadow clone out of the village. Chapter 92. On the playground. Looking at the two figures, Li Quan showed an envious look at the right moment. As we all know, he is a child who only knows physical skills and has no chakra. Not being able to learn ninjutsu is his lifelong pain. Naturally, he would not let go of this opportunity to maintain his image. However, secretly, he had been using the Daluo cave observation to watch the shadow clone. In Li Quan's opinion, the emergence of shadow clone is the most unreasonable thing in Hokage. To some extent, this is a kind of existence comparable to the magical powers in fantasy novels. It not only has the thinking of the entity, but can also assist in cultivation. In the later stages, there are even multiple shadow clone-like things, which are extremely heaven-defying. But the cost of this thing is just chakra. The materialization of energy is incredible in itself. They can also possess consciousness, fight, and share experiences and insights. This technique gives me the feeling of Li Quan. It was as if a group of natives who only knew how to play with stones could actually make guns. Therefore, he must learn this technique. Just as Li Quan was observing the shadow clone and learning. On the playground, Might Guy has fallen into a slump. There is a huge gap. In the end, Might Guy couldn't last 5 minutes. Just after 4 minutes, Chunin began to use ninjutsu. An earth-style earth array wall. Might Guy was knocked directly into the air, and then was defeated by the second examiner, Chunin, who took advantage of the opportunity. It still failed. Shaking his arms unwillingly, Might Guy turned over and walked silently to the edge of the playground. Then, he dragged his tired body and started doing push-ups. 4 minutes and 3 seconds. Seeing the time recorded by the stopwatch in his hand, Abare Mayueki looked at Might Guy in extreme surprise. This kid who doesn't show off much and talks about youth every other sentence, actually has such strength? You should know that when entering school, Yahai Kurene's scores were better than Might Guy's. In more than 2 months, these children have really changed a lot. The next moment, he looked at the remaining 3 people. Kakashi, Li Quan, Asma. According to the previous arrangement, let Kakashi play. Finish the exam early and end it early. With Kakashi coming on stage, there is another wave of attention. This genius entered the school with the first place in the entrance exam. It's really a pity. Perhaps the third generation's purpose is to demonstrate broad-mindedness, or perhaps it is to cover up the fact that they targeted Hatake Sakumo before. In short, Kakashi is still safe and sound. Many parents who were watching this examination subconsciously looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen and other senior executives. No one knows what will be the final outcome of Kakashi, the hero's child. The next second, Kakashi moved. As soon as he made a move, he pulled out the short sword named White Fang. This made Chunin, who was in charge of the assessment, stunned. So brave? Then his expression changed. This kid has such a keen fighting talent. Now I understand that the first 3 minutes are the best time to defeat these examiners. You know, the rules of the examination are set for them, the examiners. For these children, there is only one request. Persist long enough. The reason why the assessment did not specify specific rules was that its purpose was to test these children's ability to summarize intelligence. After all, intelligence gathering is a compulsory course for ninjas. Although it is not fair to the first student, luck is also part of strength. There was just one thing that the third Chunin examiner didn't understand. This is one of the ways to assess Chunin, why is it assigned to several children? It was difficult to deal with the chakra knife in Kakashi's hand. The examiner suddenly felt aggrieved. As expected, he is the child of White Fang. This level of ability is enough to pass the genin exam. Suddenly, he slashed through the air with his sword and defeated the examiner. Kakashi quickly formed seals with his hands. Ninjutsu, shadow clone technique. What the hell? This kid can actually do shadow clone. In an instant, a cry of surprise rang out in the stands. Many people's faces became extremely interesting. There was a gleam of cherishment in Sarutobi Hiruzen's eyes. At this moment, Kakashi's position in his mind has surpassed Li Chuan. Growing too fast. Without Hitaki Sakumo's teaching, this child can master the shadow clone technique. What if someone could teach me? In ninja schools, only the most basic fighting skills and a few basic ninjutsu are taught. Such as the three-body technique, rope escape technique, and so on. After learning these and passing the exam to become a genin, you will have a team leader who will be responsible for teaching. But it also depends on luck. Just like Minato Namikaze's teacher was his apprentice Jiraiya. But the teachers of others are mostly not very famous J.A. Nin. Who should take care of this child? It's Minato Namikaze. Minato's strength is almost reaching that of a J.A. Nin. Thinking of this, Sarutobi Hiruzen's mood improved a lot again. The most terrifying thing is the subtle influence. So what if Hitaki Sakumo threatens me? If he is away from the village for too long, Kakashi will eventually become his prey. Bang. Suddenly, there was a muffled sound. Kakashi actually seized the moment and knocked out the third Chunin examiner. This scene immediately shocked everyone. But Orochimaru just smiled contemptuously. Compared to his young master, Kakashi is far inferior. Even I am no match for Li Chuan. That Chunin probably wouldn't be able to withstand even one move. I just don't know what amazing thing this young master will do. I don't want to reveal my strength. What will Li Chuan do? Edge of the playground. Li Chuan looked at Kakashi strangely. This child is going to be targeted. With such a dazzling performance, it's no wonder that he joined Anbu right after graduation. If it weren't for Obito and Rin, and Minato, the little son, Kakashi would probably always be a knife in the dark. But it's okay this way. With Kakashi's brilliance, he won't be paid too much attention. 1 minute and 43 seconds. Abarameyusha was standing aside, holding a stopwatch, looking a little dazed. It's so surprising. This actually knocked out the examiner. Are the students of this class a little too heaven-defying? Subconsciously, he looked at Li Chuan. Kakashi has already done this amazing thing, but what about this little guy Li Chuan? This little guy almost defeated Kakashi before. Could Li Chuan also defeat the Chunin examiner? Look at the form in your hand. Abarameyuki wrote down the results after Kakashi's name. Then he waved to Li Chuan. Li Chuan, it's your turn next. I am recalling the scene where Kakashi used Shadow Clone. Li Chuan was a little dazed. It's his turn? He still hasn't remembered how to use Shadow Clone. Without practice, you can't master it quickly. He glanced at the fourth Chunin examiner who had already walked onto the playground. Li Chuan suddenly narrowed his eyes. Li Chuan didn't care much about these Chunin. Only when these examiners come on stage will he look at the chakra flow in their bodies. Thus learning to imitate ninjutsu. But now, is it possible for a Chunin to have so many chakras? There is a problem. Who is going to mess with him? Smiling and looking in Tsunade's direction, Li Chuan waved. And out of the corner of his eye, he looked at the people near Tsunade. Especially Denzo Shimura and Hiruzen. Sarutobi. Chapter 93. Moving slowly on the playground. Li Chuan had a plan in mind. There are not many people targeting him now. Sarutobi Hiruzen is one, and Shimura Danzo is also one. These two people have a strong desire for control. Moreover, Tsunade had a conflict with these two people because of him. So these two people will definitely notice him. There is also Uchiha Fugaku, which may be one of them. After all, he had previously persuaded Tsunade to treat Uchiha Xia. As for the others, except for Orochimaru and Tsunade, he didn't have much contact with them for the time being. Therefore, he had no idea what other people were thinking. He now trusts Tsunade's words. Hey? Orochimaru is back. This traitor is a time bomb. If things go wrong, he will launch a counterattack. It seems that he is not particularly safe now. Suddenly, Li Quan's eyes lit up. This might be an opportunity to completely escape from the public eye. But after that, Tsunade might have to work hard. Li Chuan bowed to the examiner opposite him and smiled kindly. Senior, what's your name? Yasuke Yamashiro. Do you know Yamashiro Aoba? I thought of the man who was not very sociable in class and was later nicknamed Uchiha by netizens. Li Quan asked in surprise. He didn't expect that Yamashiro Yasuke would give his name so honestly. Why would such an honest person come to fight him? King Yi, is my nephew. On the other side, Yamashiro Yasuke was very cheerful and did not hide his relationship with Yamashiro Aoba. This made Li Quan even more confused. No, such an honest person, would there be any problem? No matter how I look at it, it seems wrong. One more question, is Yasuke-senpai a Chonin? Yamashiro Yasuke shook his head and smiled kindly at Li Quan, I'm different from them. I'm a special JA. Nin, and I'm especially good at speed. As Yang Ji's voice fell, Li Quan suddenly understood. At this moment, he suddenly understood why there were 5 ninja examiners. Based on the information gathered from these 5 people, we specially selected ninjas to conduct the assessment. No wonder he felt something was wrong when Might Guy was fighting with the examiner. It seems that the ninja who fought with Might Guy was particularly strong in physical skills. Then Li Quan asked some questions again. In the stands, Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded. Li Quan is a really smart kid. This child also discovered one of the loopholes in the assessment. As long as the battle has not started, the timer for a bear maze tree will not start. Before starting, you can use the conversation to obtain various intelligence from your opponent. This make-up exam was specially prepared for Li Quan and Kakashi. The purpose is to test the true level of these 2 children. The previous Kakashi had exceeded his expectations. What about Li Quan? In order to restrain Li Quan's speed, he specially found this extremely fast ninja. As for the others, they are purely incidental. As for his son Asuma, he knew exactly what was going on. Although he has the talent to become a JA Nin, he is too proud. This child doesn't even respect the tutor hired by the clan. I think I can probably hold on for 3 minutes. And besides Sarutobi Hiruzen, Shimura Danzo raised the corner of his mouth. He was also present when Sarutobi Hiruzen was preparing for this test. And also put forward a lot of suggestions. Especially Yamashiro Yasuke. No one knows that this person is his root. Since there is no way to take Li Quan away by force, then let this child come to him himself. Now, he happened to meet Tsunade again and developed the mysterious body-quenching liquid. Perhaps I can use this opportunity to ask Li Quan to steal the body-quenching liquid. Thinking of this, Danzo felt proud again. And on the playground, after chatting for a while, Li Quan already understood the information he wanted to know. The rules of the makeup exam, information about Yamashiro Yasuke, and some miscellaneous things. And now, he is sure of one thing. Although there are some problems with the person in front of me, they are not big. At the same time, it has become his habit to ensure that his character does not collapse. The cleverness he had shown before was always meant to be seen by everyone. But, strength is something like that. Except for those few people who won't talk nonsense, it must not be revealed to anyone else. Okay, I've finished asking questions. Mr. Yushu, let's begin. After saying that, Li Quan directly. He ran around in circles. This scene stunned everyone instantly. In the stands, Tsunade, who was drinking water and preparing to watch Li Quan's performance, suddenly spurted it out. No, it's not that strong. What the hell is this pervert doing? It seems like this is something a pervert can do. She wiped the water stains from the corners of her mouth gracefully, hiding her embarrassment. Tsunade continued to read on patiently. She wanted to see what this lecherous brat was going to do after being caught up by Yamashiro Yasuke. Orochimaru, who was also looking at Li Quan, smiled and shook his head. It seems unexpected, yet reasonable. Are you planning to play a trick on Yamashiro Yasuke? Come to think of it, this guy Yamashiro Yasuke joined Anbu a long time ago. Even he was afraid of that teleportation technique. But that's it. If a fight really came to that, he had dozens of ways to kill this guy. Speaking of which, I don't know how the fusion of cells in the laboratory is progressing. Ever since Li Quan helped him fuse the cells last time, his experimental progress has accelerated a lot. As for scientific ninja tools, there has been no progress for the time being. If only this master could teach him the mysterious ninjutsu, then his progress might be faster. It seems that I need to have a good chat with this master later. On the playground, Yamashiro Yasuke was completely stunned at this moment. Is this child in front of me so good at changing his mentality? After asking him for so long, he thought he would have a good fight with him. The result, that's it. The corner of his mouth twitched, and he immediately activated the teleportation technique. However, to his sadness, he suddenly found that he could not catch up with Li Quan. For a moment, Yamashiro Yasuke felt like he had been slapped in the face. Before, he also said that he was extremely good at speed. But now, he is even worse than a child? Isn't this bullshit? Although at the beginning, he did not use the fastest speed. But Li Quan's performance really surprised him. The other side. Although he was one body length ahead, Li Quan had no intention of taking action. The speed Li Quan is showing now is the same speed he used to dodge Kushina that day. What has been exposed, there is nothing left to hide. How to make others believe that this is his fastest speed is the most important thing. Moreover, according to the information revealed by Yamashiro Yasuke, as long as you persist for 3 minutes, you will pass the makeup exam. There's no need to do that. During this time, he can also better observe and learn how to use the teleportation technique. Since it is impossible to learn something like the art of cloning oneself in a short period of time, Then learning the art of teleportation is also a good choice. Moreover, the teleportation technique can also explain why he is so fast. More than 30 seconds passed in a flash. Yamashiro Yasuke's speed is also gradually increasing. Li Quan estimated. In another 10 seconds, Yamashiro Yasuke's speed will completely surpass his own. This surprised Li Quan a little. He dares to claim that he is good at speed. This guy really has something. But soon. After these 10 seconds, I would be defeated and become an ordinary student in everyone's eyes. 10 seconds passed. Suddenly, a hand landed behind Li Quan. At the same time, obscure mental fluctuations penetrated into Li Quan's brain. What is this for? Chapter 94. In an instant, Li Quan thought of many possibilities. But no matter how hard he guessed, he couldn't guess Yamashiro Yasuke's purpose. But he soon found out. Suddenly, a mysterious rune drawn by spiritual power appeared in my mind. Then, Li Quan felt his eyes blurred. Then, he saw two more figures in front of him. Father or mother? Suddenly, several people wearing fox masks came to Li Tai and Li Ali. The picture changes instantly. Li Tai and his companion appeared in a dark dungeon. Genji? I immediately understood what was going on. Li Quan's body flew out when it touched Yamashiro Yasuke's palm. If you don't want anything to happen to your parents, don't behave abnormally. You are a smart child and you should know what to do. Yamashiro Yasuke's voice floated out from the mysterious rune. Then the mysterious rune turned into points of light and dissipated. Calm. Be sure to stay calm. While feeling panic, Li Quan forced himself to warn in his heart. Genjutsu, it's not over yet. You must not reveal any abnormality. The mental power he had drawn before really helped him a lot. If he did not have the mental strength he had now, he would definitely be trapped in the illusion and go berserk uncontrollably. If his power is seen by others, he will be controlled and turned into a weapon like Nine Tails. Damn, is that place Anbu or the root? Roots. Sarutobi Hiruzen does not have such radical means. Shimura Danzo, you are looking for death. In reality. Rolled several times on the ground. Li Quan stood up somewhat embarrassedly. He stared fiercely at Yamashiro Yasuke in front of him, with an unquenchable anger surging in his heart. He has always respected the parents in this world. Not only did his parents have to carry out the most dangerous missions for many years in order to heal the wounds on his face. Another thing is the meticulous care given by our parents when we are together. In this world, his parents are his only weakness. He will not let anyone who dares to touch his parents go. From now on, just destroy the roots. There is no need for such a place to exist. And in the stands. Orochimaru suddenly felt like laughing. My master is really good at acting. The fall just now and the look now. Absolutely amazing. What will the little master do next? Win or lose? I should lose. After performing to this extent, it would be unreasonable if they won. Kinbi aside. Tsunade obviously noticed that something was wrong with Li Quan. She had been in contact with Li Quan for a long time. Li Quan had never had this kind of expression in front of her. It seemed as if everything was going to be torn apart. What happened? Her eyes turned cold as she stared at Sarutobi Hiruzen standing beside her. Yamashiro Yasuke is the man behind Sarutobi Hiruzen. If she didn't believe in Li Quan's ability, she would never have allowed the makeup exam to continue. But now, something unexpected happened. My dear teacher, what do you want to do? Did I warn you that Li Quan is my brother? Ah? I didn't do anything. On the side, Sarutobi Hiruzen narrowed his eyes seriously. What's wrong with Tsunade? He just picked a special Nin to test Li Quan's level. Isn't this nothing at all? Baffling. Behind Sarutobi Hiruzen, Danzo looked relaxed. As if it had nothing to do with him, he continued to look at the playground. However, Yamanaka Hai and Uchiha Fugaku both looked at Yamashiro Yasuke at the same time. Mental strength? Did Yamashiro Yasuke just use genjutsu? Very interesting. What do you want to do with that child? Since Yamashiro Yasuke was an Anbu ninja, the two of them would not believe at all if he said that Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't know what was going on. It's the kid though. Uchiha Fugaku had a feeling that this child didn't seem to be hit by genjutsu. It's an illusion. How could that kid possibly resist a special Nin's genjutsu? Shaking his head slightly, he activated the 3 Megatama Sharingan expressionlessly. This test doesn't seem to be very simple. Perhaps I can find an opportunity to contact this child. Before, he wanted to contact this child through Obito. But after meeting Obito, Uchiha Fugaku suddenly realized that Obito was not very good at controlling his mouth. Then he gave up temporarily. The genjutsu that Yamashiro Yasuke is using now might be a good opportunity. You better not have done anything. On the side, Tsunade snorted coldly and looked towards the center of the playground. And on the playground, being stared at by Li Quan, Yamashiro Yasuke couldn't help but tremble. Why does this child's eyes look like a wolf's? Revenge is inevitable. Faintly, Yamashiro Yasuke felt that he seemed to have provoked an existence that should not be provoked. What's the fuss? Can a child be a threat? Just continue to do what Danzo-sama ordered. Little ghost, shall we continue? Okay, go on. Looking at the man in front of him grimly, Li Quan flexed his wrist with a fake smile. Senior Yasuke, there is something you may not know. On the first day of school, I suddenly realized that I had awakened a talent. This talent makes my body very strong. After looking at Danzo Shimura who was standing beside Hiruzen Sarutobi on the platform, Li Quan turned his gaze back. So next, I might beat you up. What's the meaning? Yamashiro Yasuke frowned. He had known this news a long time ago. If one's physical skills are strong, his body generally won't be too fragile. When Li Quan started school, he was able to fight Kakashi with physical skills. This has already been exposed. But, no matter how strong you are, how strong can you be? He is a special JA. Nin. The next second, a fist appeared in front of him. Instinctively, Yamashiro Yasuke raised his hand. However, that punch did not slow down at all. It pressed down on his arm and landed directly on his face. His head jerked aside. Yamashiro Yasuke only felt the heart-wrenching pain. He was in so much pain that he didn't even utter a cry. The speed is obviously not fast, so why does it hurt so much? Yamashiro Yasuke was confused. The two front teeth flew out directly. A trace of blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. In an instant, his face became extremely distorted. Humiliation. As the only JA. Nin among the 5 examiners, he was actually injured. Looking at Li Quan angrily and licking his empty gums, Yamashiro Yasuke's eyes showed a hint of bloodthirstiness. The air suddenly became a little colder. Along with it came an extremely cold breath. It's murderous. As someone who has been on the battlefield and killed people. He is not a nice guy. Little devil, you made me angry. But it's not 3 minutes yet, is it? Li Quan just looked at the man in front of him coldly. Then he used telepathy. Senior, I will not let anyone who threatens my parents go. You might die next. The voice that sounded in his mind made Yamashiro Yasuke suddenly stunned. It's the voice of the little devil in front of me. The art of mind-body communication? How is this possible? Oh no, there's something wrong with this kid's strength. His pupils suddenly contracted and he immediately formed seals with his hands. See the scene. Everyone's expression changed. Yamashiro Yasuke actually wants to use ninjutsu. In the stands, Tsunade climbed over the railing and rushed to the center of the playground. Sarutobi Hiruzen's spare pipe fell to the ground again, making a crisp sound. Orochimaru smiled and laughed at Yamashiro Yasuke's arrogance. Shimura Danzo's expression, which originally showed that he was in control of everything, became extremely stunned, and he completely lost his previous composure. Just when everyone had different reactions. A faint red glow lit up on the palm of Li Quan's clenched fist. Chapter 95. At the critical moment. Bang. There was a flash of smoke. Yamashiro Yasuke's body turned into half a piece of wood. And he also came to more than 10 meters away. Tsunade's forward steps suddenly stopped. A look of disbelief. Recalling the hand seal that Yamashiro Yasuke had made just now. Tsunade's expression became extremely strange. It seems that this is really the handprint of the substitution technique. Oops, I think I worried too much. Ha 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 in the stands. Orochimaru couldn't help but laugh. Even he didn't expect this result. It's really interesting. What did Li Quan do to allow Yamashiro Yasuke to escape using the substitution technique? It seems that this young master hasn't started yet. Aside. Sarutobi Hiruzen picked up his pipe and nervously wiped the cold sweat from his forehead. Swallowing his saliva, he narrowed his eyes and cursed. What a shame. Sarutobi Hiruzen really couldn't understand. Why would this subordinate of mine do such a thing? Wasn't it just a punch? He was so scared by a child that he used substitution techniques to distance himself from her. Funny, right? Is the level of Anbu ninja a bit too low? It seems that we need to think carefully about the rating of ninjas in the future. As for Shimura Danzo, he breathed a sigh of relief secretly. This guy Yamashiro Yasuke is not that stupid. If ninjutsu is really used, then today's test will not be just a simple test. Once Li Quan dies, Tsunade will most likely lead the Senjo clan and declare war directly. With the Senjo clan's lingering fighting power and the various resources at their disposal, Konoha village is likely to be destroyed. By then, the village will be gone, so why would he still be the Hokage? It's better to get out of here early. That is, why did Yasuke use the substitution technique? There were only 2 people in the field, and their expressions did not change. Uchiha Fuji and Hyuga Hayashi. Different from others. At this time, Hyuga Hayashi was not yet the patriarch of the Hyuga clan. However, he came here as the acting chief of the Hyuga clan. As the most conservative group. The bloodline of the Hyuga clan is very pure. He also opened the family's blood limit early on, rolling his eyes. When Uchiha Fugaku used the Sharingan, he also used his Byakugan to observe Li Quan in the field. Unlike the Sharingan, the Byakugan's abilities are more focused on observation. Therefore, he noticed that there seemed to be a kind of airflow fluctuating on Li Quan's body. But Hyuga Hayashi didn't care. If it's not Chakra, then there's nothing strange about it. What he was curious about was why Fugaku used the Sharingan to look at the child. Then, he saw the hand seals of Yamashiro Yasuke, just like Uchiha Fugaku. The hand seal of the substitution technique. Using a substitute technique against a child who poses no threat? Subconsciously glancing at Danzo, Hyuga Hayashi tried hard to suppress his smile. Anbu is really getting worse as he gets older. If everyone has this kind of IQ, then what is Anbu? With subordinates like these, Sarutobi Hiruzen could become Hokage. Then one day in the future, members of the Hyuga clan may also be able to do it. Sudden. Yamashiro Yasuke appeared at the edge of the playground and suddenly pressed his chest with his right hand. So uncomfortable. There's something wrong with my heart. Breathing is a little difficult. Then, Yamashiro Yasuke's eyeballs gradually rolled upwards. I. He tried hard to say something, but suddenly found that even making a sound had become a luxury. Seeing this scene, Li Chuan screamed. Yusuke-senpai, what's wrong with you? For a moment, everyone's attention was attracted to Yamashiro Yasuke. Li Chuan, on the other hand, stepped back in fear. He hid behind Tsunade in fear, with his head pressed against Tsunade's lower back. Out of curiosity and horror, he carefully stuck his head out and looked not far away. There, Yamashiro Yasuke was protecting his chest and breathing deeply. However, the flushed face and the gradually rolling up eyes gave people an extremely terrifying feeling. Instantly, Tsunade narrowed her eyes. Something is wrong. This seems to be not good, acute heart disease, respiratory failure. What are you standing there for? Help. She waved to a bare Mayushu and subconsciously looked at Li Chuan. Could it be this perverted little devil who did this? If that were true, it would be horrible. It's chilling to think that it can stimulate the enemy's disease to kill people. Moreover, the disease occurred too quickly. His face turned purple and he had difficulty breathing. The heart probably stopped beating. As for giving her first aid, there were quite a few people on the scene who knew how to give first aid. Tsunade didn't want to give artificial respiration to this unfamiliar guy. Tsunade-sama, aren't you coming in person? First give him first aid, then take him to the ninja hospital. Whether he can survive depends on fate. But this kind of vitality won't last long. I added silently in my mind. Protecting Li Chuan, Tsunade led her men out of the playground. If someone dies, then the following assessment will be unnecessary. And she always felt that Yamashiro Yasuke's target was Li Chuan. If we stay any longer, who knows what kind of trouble will arise. In the stands. Shimura Danzo's face turned as dark as the bottom of a pot in an instant. The action hasn't even started yet and the person is almost dead. He didn't even know how far Yamashiro Yasuke had gone. Why is this happening? Where exactly is the problem? Hokage-sama, the quality of your NBU members is not very good. That's right, being scared by a child to the point of using a substitute technique and then having a heart attack, tisk tisk. Several family leaders started joking. Not dead yet. Even if something happens, only people will die. They all came from the war period. In war, there are always dozens of people dying every day. A dozen or so is considered a small number. Sometimes hundreds or even thousands of people die, which is not uncommon. In the village, the Shancheng family is not a big family. If you die, you die. Anyway, it doesn't involve them. But that little kid Li Chuan really aroused their curiosity. With one punch, not only did he crush Yamashiro Yasuke's pride, but he also made him so angry that he had a heart attack. This kid is really talented. It's a pity that the strength seems to be just that. Apart from his great strength and speed, he is no match for Kakashi. If it weren't for the fact that he looked somewhat similar to Tsunade's dead brother, Tsunade probably wouldn't have even looked at him twice. Just a substitute. The rope tree is dead, and she is playing the role of a sister protecting her brother. How long can Tsunade continue to play? Kakashi is the kid who has greater potential. Shut up, everyone. Suddenly, Sarutobi Hiruzen shouted, interrupting everyone's voice. Next second. As he waved his hand, two NBU members immediately appeared and took Yamashiro Yasuke to the ninja hospital. Don't forget our purpose today. Yushu, let's continue the assessment. After saying that, he left the playground without even looking at Asuma Sarutobi. Then he walked towards Tsunade's position. In an instant, Asuma suffered tons of critical hits. My father didn't even look at me. Am I really that bad? Damn it. Why wasn't Li Chuan the one who got into trouble? Clenched fist. Asuma looked around and laughed sadly. People are about to lose their focus. Even Yahai Kurane left the playground when he wasn't paying attention. Then what is the meaning of his makeup exam? At this moment, Asuma suddenly found that he was like a clown in a circus. As if it is dispensable. Obviously, he is the Hokage's child. At the same time, with Li Chuan, Tsunade left everyone behind. Then he used the anti-peeping method he created himself to wrap the surroundings. SY kid, tell me the truth, what happened before? Chapter 96. Supergirl, now is not the time to talk about this. He glanced behind him. Li Chuan pretended to be heart-pounding and shrank his neck. After all, something happened to Yamashiro Yasuke just now. As the person involved, no matter how precocious he was, he had to react when faced with Yamashiro Yasuke's behavior. When Tsunade saw the people who followed her, her eyes turned cold. Still not giving up. These bastards, do they really think the Senjo clan is easy to bully? Princess Tsunade, why are you walking so fast? Haiga Hayashi greeted Tsunade with a smile on his face. Oh? So there are still people who remember my identity as a princess. Tsunade smiled, but her tone was not polite at all. For a moment, no one knew how to start. Haiga Hayashi, this idiot, why did he mention this identity? How can we negotiate after losing our status at the beginning? Didn't you notice that no one has mentioned Tsunade's identity until now? Do you really think they know nothing? At this moment, Sarutobi Hiruzen really wanted to give Haiga Hayashi a blow. No wonder this guy is not the patriarch of the Haiga clan yet. The next moment, Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at Tsunade with a smile. That Tsunade, you also know what Konoha is like now. It has not been long since the war ended. I haven't recovered yet. Hey, don't tell me this. During World War II, which of your families suffered as much as my Senju family? However, Tsunade simply reached out and pressed it, interrupting Sarutobi Hiruzen's nagging. Playing the emotional card? Stop it. The contribution made by the Senju clan to the village during the Second Ninja War was obvious to all. Not long ago, the Senju clan sacrificed 2 members while doing a mission for the village. If it weren't for Li Quan, there would have been even more casualties. But what about other family members? Playing the emotional card, what qualifications do these people have to play the emotional card with her? And why did something happen to the tribesmen who were on a mission some time ago? Was it information leaked by my teacher? I am acting on emotion, but I am not that stupid. If there is no evidence, And up to now, the number of members of my Senju clan has not recovered. What else do you want me to do? Sister Tsunade, what are you talking about? On the side, Li Quan asked doubtfully. He naturally understood the purpose of these people. However, he did not take the primary quenching liquid too seriously. The primary quenching liquid that can be obtained. After that, you can get intermediate and advanced levels. Moreover, in the future, he plans to use Konoha as a springboard to unify the ninja world. The powerful strength of the Konoha village ninjas is also a good thing for him. Therefore, he did not adulterate the body quenching liquid when selling it. You should always look into the distance. Now that I have passed the supplementary exam, I will maintain my ability at a normal level. As long as he doesn't do anything out of line, no one will target him anymore. Then they will secretly make money and accumulate strength, and gain enough fame, and then Konoha will change its name. Moreover, most of Konoha's resources are in the hands of these people. Making money from these people is the fastest way to make money. Therefore, it is necessary to use this rubbish, the primary body quenching fluid, to trade with these people. That's why he brought up the topic. But Tsunade was a little confused. What is this little devil up to? Aside. Shimura Denzo really wanted to give Li Quan a thumbs up. Well done. At this moment, he suddenly felt that this little devil was not so hateful. Licking the 2 gold teeth that were just inlaid yesterday, Shimura Denzo smiled and said, Chief Tsunade, let's not mince words. How is your development of the body hardening fluid going? Yes, the ones sold by Senju Hall are probably experimental products. What is the best formula and its efficacy? Yamanaka Hai joined in the conversation at the right moment. Tsunade, if you can, I hope you can contribute the formula so that all the families can study it together and make results early. As soon as these words were spoken, everyone's eyes turned to Sarutobi Hiruzen. No, isn't it so shameless? Their bottom line is that if forcing her fails, they will cooperate with Tsunade in doing business. But Sarutobi Hiruzen actually planned to rob openly. This guy is really thick-skinned. However, the idea seems to be good. If everyone participates, then every family will benefit. This old guy Sarutobi Hiruzen wants to bring all the families on board. Teacher, you really dare to speak. Tsunade's fists cracked as she clenched them, and she laughed out of anger at what she heard. After all, I am now a master and disciple with Sarutobi Hiruzen. How did Sarutobi Hiruzen say such words that made her completely chilled? If Hiruzen had mentioned funding for research and development, she wouldn't have been so angry. But now, they are preparing to rob. Strong girl, don't fall into the trap. Suddenly, Li Quan's voice rang in Tsunade's mind. This old man Hiruzen is lowering your expectations. After explaining again, Li Quan stood in front of Tsunade and shouted, You are a bunch of bad guys, you are not allowed to bully Sister Tsunade. At this moment, Li Quan suddenly realized that he had underestimated Sarutobi Hiruzen. When doing business, lowering your competitor's expectations is a very common tactic. Give your opponent a plan that is completely beyond their expectations. Then, based on this plan, gradually add conditions to make the opponent fall into your own rhythm. Finally, find out the opponent's bottom line. Because the conditions are constantly being added, the opponent will have the illusion that the other party is sincere and keeps making concessions. After the deal is concluded, the opponent will mistakenly believe that he has made a huge profit. But this profit is based on the lowest expectation. This old guy, Hiruzen, has some knowledge in business. And this time, all the families were involved through the interests. That's really good. Speaking of which, he changed his mind in a rage and sent a message before killing Yamashiro Yasuke. This gave him the opportunity to help Tsunade. Yamanaka Hai didn't notice his mental fluctuations. If this person hasn't noticed it, then he has nothing to be afraid of. Li Quan, they are not planning to bully me, they are planning to kill me. After patting Li Quan's head and protecting Li Quan behind her, Tsunade had calmed down. Listening to Li Quan's explanation through voice transmission, Tsunade really wanted to see what Li Quan's brain looked like. At such a young age, how come he can speak so much about everything? But she knew that now was not the time to explore this. It seems that I won't be able to leave today unless the issue of the quenching fluid is resolved. If the Senju clan was still in its heyday, would these guys dare to force her like this? A bunch of bullies who only fear the strong. But Tsunade's words choked everyone. What do you mean they want Tsunade's life? If they had the courage, they would have done it long ago. The granddaughter of the first generation, the great niece of the second generation, and the princess chosen by the daimyo. One of the village's heroic sunin. Konoha's most powerful medical ninja. Which of these can they ignore? Once Tsunade dies, Konoha will definitely experience great turmoil. Tsunade, you can't say that. We are still discussing it. Suddenly Sarutobi Hiruzen laughed. However, anyone could see how fake this smile was. How about we go to another place? After all, there are too many people here. Yamanaka Hai added a sentence at the right time. Wouldn't it be nice to have more people? After all, more people will know that you are bullying children and women, right? Suddenly, a hoarse voice floated over from behind the crowd. Chapter 97. Orochimaru, you have nothing to do here. Looking at the people behind him, Shimura Danzo warned. Sarutobi Hiruzen frowned. He didn't quite understand. When did this cold-blooded disciple become so close to Tsunade? Normally, Orochimaru would never participate in conversations like this involving high-level officials. But now, Orochimaru actually spoke for Tsunade. No matter how you think about it, it doesn't make sense. Oh, the assistant is really rich. These teeth are all made of gold. When did you replace them? But Orochimaru just looked at Danzo with a little surprise and teased him. Hearing this, several people's eyes fell on Danzo. Gold teeth? Don't Danzo have good teeth? It's really extravagant, too much money and nowhere to spend it, right? Using gold to make teeth, isn't that something only the nouveau riche would do? Danzo is really a person of no class. However, everyone also realized one thing. This Hokage assistant is really rich. But Danzo just looked at Tsunade and Li Quan with hatred. If it wasn't for Li Quan's kick that day and Tsunade's blow, how could he have lost 2 front teeth? Well, since you want to participate, come along. On the side, the third generation glanced at Orochimaru, somewhat helpless. This disciple is his most proud student. He is excellent in all aspects and his family background is simple and clear. And after Jiraiya mistakenly entered Mount Maya Boku and studied under Toad Sage, this disciple did not fall behind much. There has been some tension between him and Tsunade. He didn't want to have a falling out with Orochimaru either. Let's go to the Hokage building. Tsunade, don't challenge the bottom line of your master. On the other side, the frown suddenly relaxed, and Tsunade smiled and said, okay, no problem. As she spoke, she picked up Li Quan and took the lead in taking steps. At the same time, on the playground of the ninja school, Asuma Sarutobi began his makeup exam. To his surprise, he had actually lasted 4 minutes. This. Even he himself didn't quite believe it. Although these days, he is working hard every day. But according to the previous fight between Kakashi and the examiner, Asuma estimated that he could only last about 3.5 minutes. Subconsciously, Asuma felt that he had become stronger. It must be like this. Thinking of this, he activated the Grandmaster's most powerful ninjutsu, the Great Fireball. Then, the examiner failed. Not to mention Asuma, even Aberme was confused. Wasn't the examiner overacting? This is not a joke, right? In the stands, Zihi Zhenhong, who had not left yet, twitched the corners of her mouth a few times. He could see that Asuma was indeed very strong. Stronger than the current Yahai Kurane. Can defeat a Chonin, don't be ridiculous. Third generation is really capable for their son. Yui Shinku is not the only one who thinks so. In fact, there are not many entertainment activities in Konoha. Many idle ninja parents were watching this scene. And what Zihi Zhenhong thinks is also what most people think. For a moment, everyone praised. As expected of the Hokage's son, you're amazing. Hokage-sama's son is such a genius. In the playground, Asuma took a triumphant step. He is now, like Kakashi, a genius who defeated the examiner. The previous depression was swept away. Now, he is going to find Yahai Kurane to show off his achievements. But Asuma didn't know. There is something called flattery. This also contributed to Asuma's darkening. This indirectly caused Li Quan to encounter the biggest trouble of his life later on. Of course, this is a later story. In fact, Asuma was able to defeat the examiner. The most important thing is that the 5th examiner received wrong information. The examiner's knowledge of Asuma came entirely from Sarutobi Hiruzen. The specific situation happened half a month ago. Asuma was inspired by Li Quan after school started and has been working hard. In addition, with the use of primary quenching liquid, his strength has indeed improved. It can only be said that it was a coincidence. The other side. Inside the Hokage building's office, the child Li Quan became the most unusual one. Sitting in Tsunade's arms, he extremely nervously buried his head in Tsunade's chest. Tsunade was shocked by the scene. This kid is really becoming more and more lawless. Taking advantage of yourself again. Never mind, it's just a child anyway. Let's leave it at that for now, I'll settle the score with this brat later. Tell me, what do you want? Everyone looked at Li Quan in Tsunade's arms and their lips twitched. Why don't we let this child go out first? It's not good for this child to know what's going to happen next. Haiga Hayashi suggested. Oh, what if something happens when we go out? With a sneer, Tsunade looked meaningfully at Sarutobi Hiruzen and Shimura Danzo. Many members of the route were forced to join. Moreover, the incident with Yamashiro Yasuke just happened. Plus before, I've been staring at Li Quan's Anbu and roots. Tsunade is worried about Li Quan's safety. Although given Li Quan's ability, it is very likely that someone else was in trouble. But, just in case. For a moment, Hiruzen and Danzo's faces both turned dark. Ahem, what could possibly happen to a child? After a light cough, Danzo seemed unaffected and continued, let's be frank. The benefits of the body-quenching liquid are huge. So, what is the formula? The medicine sold at Senju Hall is the most effective, believe it or not. Tsunade shook her head. Impossible. Are the Senju clan that kind? Yamanaka High refuted. Then, everyone started a heated discussion. Li Chuan, on the other hand, has been using telepathic communication to tell Tsunade about the loopholes he has discovered. This war of words lasted for more than 2 hours. During this time, Orochimaru would help Tsunade from time to time. The angle is so tricky that the scene will fall into silence in an instant. When everyone was thirsty, Tsunade slammed the table angrily. That's enough. To tell you the truth, if you want the formula for the body-quenching fluid, you're just dreaming. The Senju clan only knows how to sell body-quenching fluid. If you want something better, bring money to buy it. At this point, the unpleasant conversation came to an end. What followed was the scene where Tsunade hugged Li Chuan and slammed the door and walked out. And the Hokage building also welcomed the second destroyed door again. Then, Orochimaru also left the meeting room. Suddenly, only Sarutobi Hiruzen and his group of top executives were left in the conference room. What should I do? Looking at Tsunade's departing figure, Yamanaka High looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen with a frown. Hasn't the news already been revealed? Thinking he had everything under control, Sarutobi Hiruzen took a puff of his pipe and looked at Tsunade through the window jokingly. There are 3 grades of quenching fluid. The best advanced body quenching fluid only takes 10 days to show its full effect. This kind of treasure can definitely help the children in the tribe grow up quickly. If you buy enough, you can also let Orochimaru, your apprentice, research the cracking formula. What else can Tsunade say then? After that, when the Senju clan is wiped out, the business of quenching fluid will be the exclusive domain of his Sarutobi clan. Ninja Hospital, Director's Office. As time passed, Li Chuan and Tsunade arrived here. At this moment, Tsunade was laughing so hard that she almost couldn't breathe. You little pervert, you're really something. You actually fooled those old foxes. Don't worry, the fun is yet to come. But Li Chuan was not too excited. He just played a trick of information misunderstanding, letting Sarutobi Hiruzen and others know what he wanted them to know. It's hard to say whether it's a good idea or not. Looking through the window at the Hokage building in the distance, he muttered to himself, Sister Tsunade, which clan do you think will be the first to come to you for cooperation? Chapter 98. Ninja Hospital, Director's Office. Tsunade stopped smiling and came to Li Chuan. Why are you thinking so far ahead, little devil? Because I am poor. Li Chuan said very solemnly. The system is a bottomless pit. To get more, he has to make more money. Once he starts drawing lots, his money will just keep dwindling. So the business of making money cannot stop. By some chance, Orochimaru and Hotaki Sakumo had earned a lot of money by hand typing. There are only a few treasures that can be drawn. The body-quenching liquid was something that only appeared during a temporary mission. In fact, when it comes down to it, Li Chuan still has no sense of security. The greatest danger to the Hokage world comes from the Aoi Satsuki clan. This race that possesses the so-called gods is still a long way from arriving. But there was a hidden Aoi Satsuki trick in the dark, and he was very uneasy if he didn't solve it early. Also, he has no idea whether the parents in this world are safe or not. Although Yamashiro Yasuke uses genjutsu. But, are the scenes in genjutsu real? He knew about genjutsu. But today, it was also his first contact. Li Chuan really couldn't figure out the authenticity of the scene. So after that, he would ask Orochimaru about other root bases and investigate them himself. In addition, the terrifying skill of genjutsu made him deeply afraid. In just a few seconds, he almost fell. This kind of abnormal skill, once the upper position fights against the lower position, it will be an instant kill. This also gave Li Chuan the idea of a euro making money faster. If he had enough money, he could draw a lot of items that could make other people stronger. If he makes his parents strong enough, he won't have to worry about their safety. With enough money, he could also get the blue hand earlier. The skill of double hand. Although blue hand was apparently controlling souls, in his opinion, it was essentially controlling energy. In other words, this thing is a method of practicing the Shuangchuan hands. After obtaining the blue hand, his total amount of qi will increase rapidly. Qi is the unity of essence, energy, and spirit. By then, his spiritual power will also reach a different level. In short, just one sentence. He is very short of money now. Little money grubber, 10 million taels are not enough for you to spend. On the side, Tsunade rubbed Li Quan's head. To be honest, it's not enough. Amount. Tsunade expressed her confusion. This pervert, what on earth is the purpose of asking for so much money? Besides, she had never seen Li Chuan have any big expenses. You little pervert, what do you want so much money for? You're not saving money to get married, are you? What kind of wife? 10 million taels are not enough. Oops, my hair. Li Chuan dodged Tsunade's hands, which were rubbing more and more vigorously, and looked over with resentment. Hey! Supergirl, you're not done yet, are you? Tisk, if you don't want to say it, forget it. After pinching Li Quan's face, Tsunade turned around and sat on the desk. With her hands on the table and her legs crossed, she looked toward the window with ease. Oh, It's pink today. Li Chuan UBD. Just about to show off my charm and tease Li Chuan. After hearing this, Tsunade immediately nervously protected her key parts. How could I have forgotten that this pervert can see through things? Staring at him shyly, Tsunade shouted in a timid tone, "How much did you see?" "Not much, just curious what color it is." Li Chuan smiled and turned his head. Want to do something bad to embarrass him? Do you really think that Daluo cave is just a decoration? He had already noticed the playful malice in the aura. However, before he could say anything, his ears were pulled. You better keep your eyes open, little pervert. Then don't do anything bad to me, okay? Played around for a while. The topic eventually turned to the sale of quenching fluid. I feel that the first ones to come to us should be the Hokage clan. I think so. Li Chuan nodded. Hokage Hayashi always gives him a not-so-shrewd look. Later on, he even sent his younger brother away as a bargaining chip in peace negotiations. It is estimated that this guy will most likely be regarded as a troublemaker by the major families. But there are two more possibilities. One is the Nara clan. As Konoha's think tank, the Nara clan may be forced to step forward and bring the price down. Well, the big families might boycott Senju Hall and stop us from doing business. Listening to Li Quan's analysis, Tsunade nodded in agreement. It's pretty much what I thought. So the best way to do this is to make other families think that we have already started cooperation with one family. With a slight smile, Li Chuan tapped the tea with his finger and drew the emblems of various ethnic groups on the table. First of all, let's not consider the Shimura clan for now. After all, if we're going to make a mistake, let's make a big one. The Sarutobi clan can also be put aside for cooperation. As for the other families, the Nara family is too shrewd, and the Yamanaka family's grandmaster's spiritual mysticism is probably not much worse. Drawing the crests of one family after another, Li Chuan finally drew an 8 trigrams pattern. It still has to be the Hokage clan. He is a pedantic and unsociable person. He is the next successor to the clan leader and doesn't look very smart. You little pervert, you are so boring that you even remember all the family crests. Looking at those familiar symbols, Tsunade didn't know what to say. These symbols looked familiar to her. If she were asked to draw it, she would not be able to draw any of the emblems except the Senju clan's emblem. And if the Hokage clan heard what you said, they would probably go berserk. Originally, in order to prevent the bloodline from being snatched away, the system of the main family and branch house was created. As a result, even the ability of the Byakugan has not been developed yet. Let's not talk about this. Li Chuan waved his hand, not caring at all about what he said too quickly. Anyway, Tsunade wouldn't be so bored as to talk about such things with the Hokage clan. At least now, Tsunade won't say it. Superwoman, let's go visit the Hokage clan in person in a couple of days. If anyone comes looking for you in the next 2 days, just leave them alone. Well, I understand. The advantage is on our side. Looking at Li Chuan strangely, Tsunade became more and more itchy. This perverted little devil was so clever that it made her heart palpitate. The key point is that Li Chuan is still a child. How smart will this child be when he grows up? I really want to know right now what Li Quan's secret is. But Tsunade knew that if she really delved into it, there would be a fallout between her and Li Chuan. The relationship between the two of them is actually quite good now. As for the secret, I'll just have to wait until this little pervert tells me in person in the future. Speaking of which, haven't the child's parents completed their mission yet? It seems like I've been out of the village for more than a year, so nothing should go wrong. Let those tribesmen who have hidden their identities go out and look for him. Time came, night came. After Li Chuan returned home, he used space travel to go to the mountain behind Hokage Rock. His purpose, of course, was to find Orochimaru. Today, Orochimaru came to watch my makeup exam, which was to tell me that Orochimaru was back. Although now, he is not very interested in the little money Orochimaru earns from completing missions. But he was very interested in all the root information that Orochimaru knew. Given Shimura Danzo's personality, he wanted to force him to submit through his parents. Then regardless of whether his parents were in trouble or not, Danzo should have taken action. But the result is still unknown. Not long after, in the biological laboratory. Looking at Li Chuan who rushed in with a menacing look on his face, Orochimaru suddenly felt a palpitation. Could it be that this young master already knew that he had kidnapped his parents? Chapter 99. Inside the laboratory. Glancing at Li Chuan guiltily, Orochimaru turned his head naturally and continued to observe the petri dish on the table. Orochimaru's psychological quality is actually very good. But now he has a different kind of fear of death. Facing Li Chuan, who is not willing to reason with him and may even want to take his life. He was really scared. Although he was afraid, Orochimaru didn't want to be without any way out. So when he left Yuyin village, he prepared his own backup plan. Li Tai and his wife were forcibly taken away. And where the couple was hiding, no one knew except him. But the one in front of me is Sage of Six Paths. Although immortals may not be omniscient and omnipotent, what if they are? What will happen to Li Chuan once he finds out what he has done? He also wants to know the truth about this world and find the meaning of life. But human life is limited after all. Once you die, there is nothing left. Faced with an unreasonable and invincible strong man, he really didn't know what to do. But soon. As for eternal life, he has also recently made some progress. The art of reincarnation gave him a lot of inspiration. This technique did not seem to be as difficult to learn as he had imagined. Through this technique, he might be able to take another path to eternal life. By that time, it would not be so easy for the Sage of Six Paths to kill him. Orochimaru, are you hiding something from me? Staring at Orochimaru in front of the experimental table, Li Quan narrowed his eyes coldly. He uses Daluo Dongguan all the time and is extremely sensitive to the aura of people around him. At this moment, Orochimaru's aura gave Li Quan a feeling. It's a guilty conscience. But then, Li Quan shook his head. During this period, Orochimaru was doing research. What he did was to secretly attack some ninjas and obtain experimental materials. According to the historical trend of Hokage, the current Orochimaru does not have many roles in Konoha. This guy can't have any influence on some major events. However, Li Quan didn't know that this time he suffered from experience. He waved his hands in annoyance and said grimly, "Forget it, if you don't want to talk about it, then don't talk about it. I'm not interested in listening. Denzo has taken action against my current parents. Tell me the locations of all the root bases you know about. I want to go there." Orochimaru's forehead became slightly wet as he observed the petri dish. Parents today? Why does this sound so weird? Who were Li Quan's previous parents? Was this a warning to me not to attack Li Tae and the other two? In an instant, a lot of questions quickly popped up in Orochimaru's mind. Snap! The hand holding the tweezers loosened and he looked at Li Quan with a wry smile. "Little master, your parents should be fine. I guess it's fine for now, but it's hard to say what will happen in the future." Clenching his fist, Li Quan thought of Bear Mei Ayaka's sister. The little girl had very fair skin and seemed to have seldom been exposed to sunlight. She must have been imprisoned for a long time. But the little girl didn't have any injuries on her body. When he rescued the little girl, he also saw many other people. These people were also not injured. If my parents were really kidnapped by Denzo, the result would probably be the same. But at the side, Orochimaru rolled his eyes. Damn, Li Quan definitely knew. This is to warn me not to mess around by attacking the root base. What should I do after that? At this moment, Orochimaru suddenly realized that he seemed to have kidnapped 2 time bombs. And it's the kind that can kill him at any time. Let's protect those 2 ancestors first. Before you gain eternal life, don't offend this immortal. Can't waste time. If you waste yourself, there will be no fun. Wiping his forehead awkwardly, Orochimaru smiled awkwardly and said, "Master, I haven't joined the root core yet, so I don't know much information. I can see that you don't even have the seal of eradicating tongue evil. How could Denzo trust you?" Glancing at Orochimaru, Li Quan shook his head. Although there is a reason for that because of his identity as Orochimaru. But now, Orochimaru's strength is not among the strongest in Konoha. If Denzo wants to eradicate the evil of tongues, he should be able to do it. However, in a few years, Sunen's strength should grow to the level of Kage. By then, things will be different. In fact, Li Quan did not expect to know the news about his parents all at once. But, it's better to have something than nothing. That's right, why is Orochimaru getting weirder and weirder the more I look at him? Isn't it going to be disintegrated again? Tisk tisk, sometimes, being too smart is not a good thing. Smart people usually think too much and tend to complicate things. Let Orochimaru figure it out. The safety of parents is more important now. Tell me all the information you know, and I will sort it out myself. Just do your experiment with peace of mind. By the way, there is some gold here. You should find a way to change it into money. It is not very convenient for me. As he spoke, Li Quan took out the swallowing sack and poured it out. This scene really made Orochimaru's eyes widen. Space ninja tools? This little master has so many treasures. The prices of space-type ninja tools are not cheap. The most common ones are various sealing scrolls. But he had never seen the small bag that Li Quan took out before. As expected of an immortal, anything he takes out is of high quality. And the puppet that flashed by seemed to be a masterpiece as well. However, looking at the gold nuggets on the ground, Orochimaru's mouth twitched unconsciously. Before the incident, the root base number 4 was stolen, and it was really Li Quan who did it. The Shimura clan's logo is still on these gold nuggets. Master, was it really you who did this? Why bother so much? Just right. Li Quan frowned and scolded. Originally, he wanted Tsunade to deal with these gold nuggets. But after thinking it over, he gave up. Today's Senju people are not particularly wealthy. Moreover, the matter of quenching body fluid has put the Senju clan in a favorable position. If Tsunade handles these gold bars at this time, something bad is likely to happen. Just at this time, Orochimaru came back. Letting this registered disciple, whose presence is not strong, handle the matter of the gold nuggets would be relatively less risky. He just didn't quite understand why Orochimaru was so nagging. This time he came to see Orochimaru, he just wanted to know some things about the root. But Orochimaru kept procrastinating. This made his already uneasy heart even more irritable. 5 minutes later, Li Quan finally got a, not very complete, distribution map of the back mountain. Looking at the various areas marked above, he was a little bit unbelievable. No, are there so many hidden places in this area behind Hokage Rock? Before, he thought that this area was very secretive. As a result, 20 to 30 of the areas were similar to bases, and they belonged to various families. After dealing with envious 6 bases, do you want to visit other clans' bases? In front of Orochimaru, Li Quan stepped into the crack that appeared and disappeared on the spot. Watching this scene, Orochimaru swallowed hard. No, space-type ninjutsu, can it be used like this? Even Flying Thunder God isn't this perverted, right? If he saw it correctly just now, the space was torn apart. What is the strength of this Sage of Six Paths? Chapter 100. The night is exceptionally dark. The clouds were also exceptionally thick. In the quiet woods, a young man in combat uniform was constantly moving back and forth. With each movement, his body would appear in another area as if flashing. Man is naturally Li Quan. Now he has turned into Sarutobi Shinishuk. The combat uniform he was wearing was what he asked Aberme Ayaka for. With the previous experience of transforming with the red hand, Li Quan tried it many times. Now, he can change his body within 3 seconds. It is slower than the transformation technique, but there is no time limit after the transformation. When preparing to cause trouble at the root base, Li Quan didn't think of using his face. He will never forget the necessary safety awareness. Because before, Aberme Ayaka also told him the locations of several root bases. While moving, Li Quan marked out those bases. Repeated twice, 2 more. 8 bases in total. Soon, Li Quan arrived at the nearest base number 3. After taking a quick look at the Daluo cave, he shook his head speechlessly. Apart from people, food, and houses, there is no other material. How cautious. Dismantle. He took out Aberme Ayaka's fox mask, put it on his face, and punched the ground. In an instant, the ground cracked and the mountains collapsed. The root members underground immediately discovered the abnormality. But the rubble rolling down their heads made them flee in a panic. Boom. Boom. There was a constant bombardment. The earth was shaking more and more violently. More and more rocks are falling. In just 3 or 4 seconds, people started to be killed and injured. Watching this scene through Daluo cave, Li Quan's eyelids twitched. I killed someone with my own hands. Moreover, compared to the way Yamashiro Yasuke died, the ways these people died were much more horrific. Although there were some fluctuations in his heart, he didn't seem to be particularly afraid. Maybe it's because of anger. Anyone who dares to hurt his parents should die. There was a chill in his eyes, and he punched even faster. 10 seconds later, his figure disappeared and Li Quan went to the next base. With Li Quan's departure, the entire base has completely collapsed, with no intact place left. However, not many people died. After the earthquake, everyone reacted quickly. When casualties occurred, the ninjas at the base had already begun using ninjutsu. Some ninjas even left the base and started searching around. And the other side. Li Quan has arrived at the second base. Same operation, same quick attack, same quick departure. No stopping. There was no trace of his parents, and he had no resources. There is absolutely no point in staying in the same place all the time. As for killing, Li Quan is not a bloodthirsty person. Even after he gained power, he did not start a massacre. At this moment, although he was very angry, he could still distinguish the importance of things. Not all root members are involved in this matter. If you want to destroy the root, the most important thing is to destroy the Shimura clan and a few diehard fans of the root. But some blood must be shed. He wanted to make Danzo understand that Danzo had provoked someone who should not be provoked. He wants to make Danzo feel fear. Even if he is discovered in his current state, he will make Danzo and Hiruzen fight each other. However, as he came to the 5th marked location on the map, Li Quan suddenly stopped. This is actually a cage. At a glance, there are all kinds of people, including the elderly, the weak, women and children. Squinting his eyes, Li Quan did not rush to take action. He had no psychological burden in killing members of the root. But once he takes action, he will destroy the space. Except for the ninjas in the base, all other imprisoned members will probably die. Then this matter is very serious. His eyes suddenly lit up, and Li Quan returned to his home. Then, he walked out of the house and walked towards a member of the Senju clan. Hiding in the tree. Senjutani's mouth twitched. Why did this little boss come to me? For it I won't be discovered, right? It was discovered. It's so embarrassing. Among the 3 tribesmen, I was the first one to be discovered. But I hid myself very well, how did the boss find me? Come down and call out the other 2. Hearing the sound, Senjugu jumped off the branch helplessly. Then, he waved to 2 other places. Little boss, what do you want from us? Looking at the 2 men and 1 woman who appeared in front of him, Li Quan nodded. Senju Valley, Senju Keiko, Senju Ishiyama, right. Now there is an opportunity to greatly damage the strength of the root, do you want to do it? Yes. Why not? Senju Ishiyama clenched his fists, looking eager to try. Laozi has been unhappy with him for a long time, if it weren't for the poor family situation. Okay, shut up and listen to what the boss has to say. Senjugu frowned and held down the man Senju Shishin. For a moment, the 3 of them looked over at the same time. Brief contact. Li Quan already had some understanding of the personalities of the 3 people. Gu is the eldest brother, and Shishin is the impatient one. The only female, Lucy, was so calm that it was a little scary. These 3 people are his team for the time being, and are also one of the bridges for him to communicate with the Senju clan. This matter is actually simple to explain, but there are only 3 of you, which is not enough. So, I need you to contact the members of the Senju clan. Young boss, can I ask what you are going to do? Go rob someone. And do it tonight. Looking in the direction of the back mountain, Li Quan's expression gradually became indifferent. The previous base was base number 7 at the root. There are not many ninjas among them. But it is very secretive to find. If Orochimaru had not selected experimental subjects there before, he probably wouldn't have known about this place. That's why Li Chuan came up with the idea of a euro robbing someone. The people imprisoned in this base should all be family members of the root members. If these people disappeared, the root would be in chaos. After that, the Senjo clan will also have the opportunity to gradually take over the roots. He wanted to see how Danzo would respond. Little boss, I'll go find the clan leader now. Cold sweat broke out on Senjutani's forehead. Rob people. It seems that he still wants to kidnap someone from Danzo. Poor boss, you can think of this. The patriarch will definitely not agree to this. I guess even the elders of the clan would not agree. It's too dangerous. And once you start, you'll completely break off relations with the roots. If a loophole is left, the Senjo clan and the Shimura clan will probably go to war. 10 minutes later, several ninjas arrived at the root headquarters. Master Danzo, base number 3 was attacked, and 1/10 of the people were killed or injured. Base number 5 was also attacked, and 24 people died. Base number 2 has also been attacked, and the attacker is suspected to be Sarutobi Shinishuke. Listening to the reports from his subordinates one by one, Shimura Danzo's face instantly darkened. He knew that the people who robbed his base a few days ago would not give up easily. Is that BD Hiruzen crazy? What on earth does his son want? Slamming the table angrily, he stood up and looked into the distance. There are 9 bases for root training. Among them, those who were trained were the Genin and Chonin. Only J.A. Nin and a few special Chonin are qualified to stay in the headquarters. He didn't care how many people died. Those muscles and bones that cannot be hurt at the root. He also transferred some of the property in advance. But what he couldn't understand was why Sarutobi Shinishuke wanted to attack the root. Was it Sarutobi Hiruzen's order? Aberame, take a few teams and go protect the other bases. Yamanaka, you come with me to the Hokage building. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel so you are notified of future uploads. You can find the next parts in the playlist visible on the screen or on my channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.